Officer still stands for talk? No. Offender in custody?
Yes, good evening, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday. Yeah, Wednesday. Damn it, Harsh. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for hopping in. Wow, what a little video. Speaking of Harsh, what a little video earlier today, huh? About Steve G's statements. We're going to get into that tonight. We're going to discuss some of the PCA. We're going to go through some of the PCA. We're going to be talking about the witnesses and maybe what you guys think. We're going to watch that video as well. I want to say shout out To law offices of Andrew D. Myers, Laney Law, thank you so much for having me on today. It was a great conversation during the show. It was a great conversation after the show. Those two are the best. And I'll highlight their channel once we get everything switched. Plus, I got to show you some stuff about the tire tracks. Remember what I was telling you about where the tire tracks were and where I told you they would be? Remember? You'll see what I'm saying. Plus some other things tonight. So I want to thank you all for hopping in. I appreciate you. And I'm going to go ahead and say hello and what's up to everybody. What's up, Angel? I get that JB, my screen's so small that then it looks like an A sometimes. Even with glasses. I need a bigger screen. What's up, Katrina? Ticket number 5. Bianca, ticket number 7. Thank you for hopping in. Cindy Abbott, hi all. Can't wait for tonight. I couldn't wait either, trust me. I thought Harsh was going live this afternoon, but I guess he switched it. What's up, Kid Kitty? So I was just doing some work with my notes and stuff. We're going to be showing you some of that footage and stuff again tonight that I took. What a conversation earlier. I can't wait to have Andrew and Laney on sometime. It's going to be a really cool show. What's up, Kelly? So look for that video to drop. It's probably going to drop, I don't know, either tonight or tomorrow morning, probably. So when you see the red hoodie and the red hat, that was about 1:30 this afternoon. What's up, Control Alt Delete? Thank you for hopping in. Ticket number 14. They are two amazing people, too. Amazing people. And he's so funny. I want to have both of them on, and even separately, 3 shows if they, whenever they have time. I'd like to have them both on for an episode of Conversations with CJ, and each one of them separately for Conversations with CJ. And speaking of Conversations with CJ interviews, we are going to be having some more of those coming up here in the near future. So we're going to be having some more of those into the rotation as well, some more interviews. So what's up, Caddy? Ticket number 13. Thank you for hopping in. Katrina. What's up, Cindy? April. Ticket number 18. Thank you. Mark and Betty. Ticket number 15. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Cindy, that's one of the reasons why I started this show in the first place. One of the main reasons why was because with COVID and being isolated and living by myself, and then, at a period in time, if you got COVID outside of work, then you weren't paid, which then you could lose. It was a very tough situation. So in my situation, I literally had to, I couldn't even go bowling. You know what? I couldn't even go bowling on a Saturday afternoon or whatever, a Saturday night or whatever, because I was in a position where basically if I got COVID from outside of work, I didn't get paid. And when you live on your own, and you're talking potentially, because there's a point where some people, you had to test negative 2 times to come back. And some people weren't even tested negative for months. And so I was like, yeah, I'd like to go bowling and have a couple drinks or something. But no, it's cool. I'll just have to stay home because I don't want to lose my damn job. And then that for 2 years. And then not being able to go anywhere for holidays and basically being isolated by myself for 2 years other than work. Yeah, I was like, I got to do something. I got to have some kind of interaction. The phone's not working anymore. Video games, Xbox party chats, that wasn't working anymore. I'm like, it just, I got to do something. And that's when I'm like, let me try and see if I can do this YouTube show stuff. And then all of a sudden, from your company and your conversation, when I started doing my shows, that's what actually pulled me out of that funk. So the more people that came in and included their conversation and their company, the quicker I got out of that funk. And so that's why I say I always appreciate, and your company and your conversation is always going to be important to me no matter what, because you are the reason why I was able to get out of that funk. So sorry for that little story there. But what's up, Mama Five? What's up, D Marie? But some people, some people don't know. That's why I was like, I need to do something. I need to do something. And it was amazing, and it's been amazing ever since. What's up, DS? Thank you. Yoli, how you doing tonight? It's been amazing ever since. Was I going to be true crime? No, not really. Not in the beginning. It just, Idaho4 is really the case that kind of morphed it into that kind of. What's up, Christina? Thank you. I appreciate that. Aw, thank you. Copied it, no. JLR says defense are going back to King Road. I didn't see any documents. That's what I was wondering. Like, all of a sudden, I wake up and people are messaging me like, it's Brian's DNA. I was like, what? Huh? Where's it? What? Get on the dot. I'm like, where's the document? What? Huh? What happened? What happened? And the defense is going back too? What's going on? What's going on? I didn't see any documents. What happened? Talk to me. Where's it coming from? Where's it coming from? Oh, okay. That's okay, April. I was like, what? The only kind of hate, thank you, Mark and Betty. The only kind of hating we have over here is we hate the lies. That's what we hate. Okay. Okay. Oh, you're good. I was like, oh shit, that's funny. Because you like, hey, I even praise him, you know? I'm not we only talk about cases where it's sketch. There's some cases where, where we run into it and we highlight them for sure. What's up, Medicated? But we have to talk about the shit that needs questioned because the truth and justice needs to happen, and so therefore it kind of appears that way. But really, if you dig down deep in, what's up, Leah? No, it ain't like that at all. It's about truth and justice. What's up, Cherry? Thank you. What's up, Pamela? Deborah? What's up? Aunt B. Bianca. There's Caddy. What's up, Brooke? New icon photo. How you doing tonight? What's up, Danny? Ticket number 24. Oh, yeah. But, really, that's what I was telling Andrew D. Myers and Lainey Law today. I was like, look, I said, I do my day shows, I do my night shows. So really, honestly, it's anybody else's schedule is my schedule when it comes to shows. You know what I'm saying? So really, it's whatever they're comfortable with. It would always be that way anyway, even if I didn't have certain times available. Anytime that I'm with another individual, whether it's on my show or somebody else's, it's always whatever is comfortable for them, really, because it's part of being 150. It's always worrying about the other person before yourself. So whatever makes them comfortable, whatever their best time frame is, that's what I would like, because I would like them to feel the most comfortable, whether we're over here or I'm over there. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, wow, I appreciate the kind words. Thank you. Essential workers, yeah. That's what it was. Oh, thank you. It's the community that put it together, because I'm just one of those, I'm just one of those 2x4s in the beautiful house. I'm just one 2x4. That's it. Everybody else is a 2x4. It's all of you. What's up, Scarlet Nefarious? What's up, Truth Matters? I've virtually met some of the best people in the world following true crime. Thank you. Yeah. What was I doing? I was making these translucent, they were translucent structures, and I was welding those together, but it was RF welder, so it's and it's like a translucent material, so therefore, and it goes on a frame, and it's for like elegant, there was stuff for TV shows, there was stuff for like The Rock has like one of these structures for like his workout room. It was like in Hawaii or something like that. But one of his workout areas, he's got like this huge, but basically you can like hook any kind of lighting up to it and whatever color it is or whatever, and it'll actually, the fabric itself will actually glow whatever color you put around it. So it like the fabric like magnifies the glow of whatever you put on it, so then the whole structure itself is like a huge glow. But those were structures meant for like 150 to 500 people. So then when COVID took place, they took us away from that work. And then if you guys would ever go to like those drive up or those pull up in the very beginning, where they had like the pull up stations outside of the hospital where you would pull up and that's where they would test you for COVID. I went from making those structures to then making the structures that were connected, or those they're like carports in a way, I guess is a good way to put it. They're like carports. And so we switched to making those, and then we also made like those the things that went in between, like Walmart, any of the public places, the block, the whatever you want to call it. Yeah, that stuff. And we were working like 70 hours a week too. It was crazy. It was so crazy. Oh, thank you, Mark and Betty. I appreciate that. Inside information. Okay. Probably the same source as it being confirmed that it's Koberger's DNA, right? Hey, you know what they said? Shit likes to excrete the easiest path possible. I was drawn to this case by one of my daughters, followed one of the victims. Aw. Oh, wow, Mama 5. That's crazy. Thank you, MB. Oh, thank you. We don't have a shit ton, but they're all diamonds. Excuse me. Yeah, everybody having a hard time on the holidays for sure. Thank you so much, Danny. Yeah, we did stuff for like The Bachelor, different shows like that. Oh, Chew. Uh-oh. Cindy, does she get an early present? Does she get it early? 12 days away. All right, let's get into what I want to show you tonight. First, I'm going to share the channel, Law Offices of Andrew D. Myers, Laney Law. Shout out to them, two beautiful people. It like I said, it was almost like we were sitting on some lawn chairs outside, drinking some tea and coffee, and just having a great conversation. It was amazing. I can't wait to collab again, and whenever they want to. I am down. We are down. I know the community loves them. I'm so excited. Speaking of internet, people have to come back tomorrow. It did not get fixed, so I had to run off mobile hotspot. Right now, I'm trying to run off the regular internet, so if it messes up, I apologize, and I will quickly switch to my mobile hotspot. I ran off the mobile hotspot earlier when I was on their show, and the connection was kind of bad, so I'm kind of bummed out. But, I just want the damn internet to work so we can have a damn show without any issues. You know what I mean? I don't know. So I just want to apologize if it does mess up tonight. Don't worry. I'm already prepared to hurry up and do the switcheroo if we have to do that. And if you see that video drop and it does look like you know why, I had to go off a mobile hotspot today because the internet was not working earlier. So, all right, we'll go ahead and get it switched. And I'm going to show you these tire tracks real quick. All right. Now, remember when I was telling you guys I was showing you the area, right? When it came to the tire tracks. Here we go. This is the perfect picture, okay? Whoa, I disappeared there. All right. Now, remember when I did the footage, right? And I showed you guys where the tire tracks would have taken place based off the momentum of the vehicle as you're turning. So I'm going to show you the real footage, and then I'm going to show you that this, what are you talking about? This is not a track that is involved with somebody turning that road at a high rate of speed. And this is a perfect picture. So I'm going to share the link to this. What's up, Caddy? You didn't miss anybody. American Princess sneaking in. What's up? Oh, Davie, Florida. Really? Interesting. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Aunt B. Oh, sorry to hear that. Yes. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, thank you, Nina. The show was great. John Morgan, what's up? Yeah, we chatted for like an hour after the show. And he was like, when we were saying later, he was like, man, I wish I would have recorded this conversation too. Like, hey, that's, trust me, we're going to have more episodes of Conversations with CJs where you get more interviews and more personal conversations and just regular conversations. And trust me, I'm already in the works of trying to get more interviews in the rotation, because I think not only when it comes to true crime, I like kind of how we do it, and then I also love interviews, and I love interviewing people, and I always feel like anytime that I talk with anybody, we are always It's just great conversations with anybody. So that's another thing that I really want to showcase is interviews as well, because I think it's another aspect. These are raw conversations, just like the true crime shows that we do. They're all conversations. Yeah, my internet too is right. Freaking ridiculous. All right, so I'm gonna do a zoom in on this picture. All right, and then I'm gonna take you to the footage to show you guys. But I know you remember. Let me see here. Let me zoom in on this picture, and I'll show you how it's not possible. You can tell just from this picture. I just gotta find it. There it is. All right. Look. All right. See where this guy's elbow is? See where this guy's elbow is? See where the tape is at? See the tape? What's up, Kevin? See the tape? Right? See the PD vehicle? Yeah? see this right here? Picture this area right here, okay? See, look at where my cursor's at. See this little crack right here? Just keep your eye on that crack. This crack right here. Keep your eye on that crack. Keep your eye on the crack. Keep your eye on the crack. That's where the tire marks would be, people. That's where the tire marks would be. Right where that crack's at. What's up, Carrie? That's where your tire marks would be if the person is turning the corner at the crime scene, turning the corner at a high rate of speed. This is where your tire tracks are going to be, is right at this crack. Not all the way down here. And what did they do? Did they like peel out from here and then all of a sudden turn right because they hit 88 miles an hour already, and then they turned right into 11, 12, and all of a sudden the car just disappeared because they already hit 88 miles an hour, so they just hurried up and turned it out of the way? Why is there a big-ass peel right there? What part of this tire track tells you that this is the tire track of somebody leaving the crime scene at a high rate of speed, let alone leaving the freaking crime scene, period? Huh? Okay. It doesn't make sense to me. That's why I was trying to show, when I'm showing you guys with the footage when I came back and we're going down the hill and I'm showing it. This is, see where the momentum changes in the vehicle. I took you in the vehicle. This is where the momentum changes. This is where your tire tracks are going to be, because that's where the momentum changes in the vehicle. When you're turning, compared to when momentum is taking you straight still, but then there's the G-force because you want to turn the motion, and your motion's going this way, which creates friction. The friction creates the tire marks, and they're supposed to be down here. No, they're up here at this crack. You look at this crack right here, we zoom back. You look at the crack, we zoom back. You look at the crack, we zoom back. That's where your tire tracks are going to be, because hell, that's where they're going to be starting or have already been started in that spot. And they're going to come from here, and it's going to peel here, and then they're going to start to disappear about right there. that's where they're going to disappear, because then your vehicle is going the direction that your momentum is taking you. There's no reason to have friction on the road. There is no friction. So how does this tire track make sense? It doesn't. Now look at this tire track. Look at the tread marks. And I want to say shout out to Lion's Tooth Tea. This is Jenny. And I'm going to share her post from Twitter. So look at those tire tracks. Unfortunately, I can't quick switch between these because StreamYard doesn't let you. So here's Jenny's Twitter. Shout out to her for this post. And here's the link to this post. Remember when I was telling you guys, suspect vehicle -1, when we saw that Sentra? When we saw that article, I believe it was the New York Post, article from the New York Post of Moscow PD first looking for a 2019 to a 2023 Nissan Sentra. Do you see the treads? Nexen N Priz tires are one of the most common tires types associated with 2018 to 2020 Nissan Sentra cars. The grooves in the Nexen are smoothed closer together like guitar strings. I think the tire track in the crime scene photo is from the Nexen N Priz tire. I thought it was a really good post, and I wanted to say shout out. And I thought it was a good share because it also shows the picture. There's no way that you can tell me that tire peel out mark is from somebody exiting at a high rate of speed, exiting the crime scene. It doesn't fit. I have to make a PSA. I'm still a PSA. No, it don't make sense at all. All right, another thing I wanted to share, shout out Harsh. There's 2 more things I'm going to share on Twitter here. Shout out Harsh. Now, I said, it makes me think I know who they were talking about now when they said to Brian Enton that she had a good alibi and that they were cleared too quick. And it says here on the first picture that they were just threatened by one family and that both families have resources and are being protected because neither wants to be a part of the case. And I'm telling you right now, and I've been saying right now, that the reason they don't want to be a part of the case is because the statements from the PCA are suggested questions. And when they get on the stand, they're going to be tore to shreds. Then they're going to be the reason, quote, to everybody why BK got off. And so why would they want to be a part of it? That's what makes sense to me. Like I've always said before, when you lawyer up, real quick, which hey, you're supposed to. But when you lawyer up that quick, I don't think you're going to be answering questions like freely when it comes to any kind of questioning for statements. If you're already lawyered up before they come, what do they tell you to say? Don't say anything. Hello? So then that's why I said, who says the statement in the PCA isn't the third conversation that somebody had with DM? And it wasn't just somebody saying, okay, did they have thin eyebrows? I don't know. Did they have cut up eyebrows? Was there a scar? I don't know. Did they have skinny eyebrows? I don't know, maybe. Did they have thick eyebrows? I don't know. Were they bushy? I don't know. I don't know, I guess. Oh, okay. I don't think they said much. That's why I think they were suggested questions. And then when you look what's in the PCA and the wording of it, it's almost like, huh? Maybe they were. Because you don't, would they talk? Think about it. If you're lawyered up before they come, maybe that's why the 8-hour delay, they didn't want to be the reason. So they were trying to have friends come over so then they would be the ones on the witness stand. You know? Oh, neither one of us want to do it. We need friends to come over and discover, right? They already discovered, but they don't want to, no, let's have friends come over and discover them so we don't have to be the ones. Or why in the hell else would there be a latent shoe print too? But I don't think they want to be involved because I don't think they want to go on the witness stand to testify that what they said in the PCA is 100. Because I think they're going to get tore to shreds about the statements on the PCA. And that's why they're scared. Because they're like, yo, we weren't the ones that twisted the fucking words on the PCA. And we're going to get blamed for it. Not that they're lying, Sherlock Kendra. Not that they're lying. That they're going to get blamed for the word twists that were used. Even though they didn't say anything. Even though, they were lawyered up. Even though they didn't have to say shit. Even if it was suggested questions. It's not BF and DM's fault if LE twisted their fucking words to fit for the PCA. And I think that's why they're scared. Not that they're lying, that their words were twisted. That their words were twisted and suggested to fit the PCA statement. That's what I'm thinking. Why else wouldn't you want to take the stand to save your friends? The justice to help. You know what I mean? These were your friends. These were the people that you took a photo with the same day that you even had Kaylee stating, sending a message to Christy about all the beautiful people in her life right there. Every one of them. Those 2 girls were part of it. So you can be so cold-hearted. You can be so damn cold-hearted. Right? I don't think they're cold-hearted. And I've never said that they lied. I've always said their words were twisted. I would think if you're in the photo and Kaylee is telling her mom that she feels that way about BF, DM, Ethan, Zaina, Maddie, all of them, damn straight I would see DM and BF stepping up to the plate for their friend for justice. But the only time I wouldn't see their friends stepping up is because they don't want to be the reason why something got fucked up or something got turned around when it wasn't even their fault, because they didn't even use those words in the PCA. It was Mr. Payne that used those words in the PCA. And even if he's fucking lying on the PCA, whether it's Uniontown, Idaho, when it should be Washington, if you look at the bottom line, it says what I believe. Well, I believed it was in Idaho, but I'm sorry, I guess it's in Washington. He has a perfect out. He can be like, it's just what I believed. I believed it as fact. So to me, I don't think they want to be the reason when really, if you look at it from what I'm saying, they're not the reason. But they could end up being the reason, even when, so be it, maybe they didn't say much, right? I'm not saying anything about that. So be it. Maybe they didn't say much, but they didn't have their words twisted. And so, just like with Brett Payne, and he can literally go about any kind of bullshit, they don't get to. So in that situation, if the words got twisted against them to fit the PCA, Payne can just go, the girls? Because like I said, if there's suggested questions, well, I asked her and she responded. Even if she would have responded, I don't know, I guess. Well, I'm sorry. Well, she responded, I don't know, I guess, Your Honor. So that's why I just went ahead and wrote, yes. Bushy eyebrows. I took that as a yes. Let's see it. I would love to. I don't think that took place. That's why I think they want training records. Just as well when it comes to the collection of evidence. That's why they want the training records, because they want to see if the people did follow the conduct and the procedures of what they're supposed to do. Is she back at the house? Is she back at the house? So shout out Harsh. Let me I'll share his YouTube here real quick. And actually here, let me show you the video. And I'm going to post, there's something I wanted to share with you guys too. There's somebody that tagged me in Twitter and I want to share it with you guys, and then we'll get into the stuff tonight. Thank you all for hanging out. Here's the link to this video. We'll end up watching it here in a second. Yeah, I was in there. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Well, it's a good thing that they didn't tear it down then yet, huh? Because I'm thinking it's going to be torn down here soon. What's up, Yoli? How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. Just getting into it.
Yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
Well, I wanted to share this last thing with everybody. Me and Harsh were tagged in this, and this is, here, let me share the post. She's got 2 bunnies, and she's looking for a funny meme, and she said you can be brutal or sarcastic. So I wanted to share this with you guys. If you guys wanted to go, here's the link to that post. If you guys wanted to hit the heart on it and retweet it and maybe drop a little idea if you wanted to. I was like, oh, that's cool. 2 little bunny pictures. How's it going with you? I know you're busy.
Yeah, busy with discovery, answering discovery requests. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's work that I can at least listen to, I can listen to podcasts or whatever. It's not like writing motions where I can't listen to anything.
Yeah, where you have to focus on it.
Yeah. But this case is slowly driving everybody crazy, I think.
Yeah.
And then a whole nother level of anxiety is that whole tie, that clip-on tie that Chief Fry was wearing.
Yeah.
So I have, Zoom court appearances, and then I start looking at my stuff, and I start like, did I wear this last time? Like, is this and then I start looking at other people that are on video, and I'm like, oh my God, that's a clip-on tie. I'm so distracted.
Yeah. Are you? I mean, yeah, it's I don't know. It's the little things that we find,
Yeah, I mean, geez.
That's
did I wear this suit blazer before anyway?
I mean, yeah, you got to keep, you have to keep track, because sometimes you're not on the show, and there's definitely a rotation. But no, it was just funny that there was 3 videos in a row that Vinny had the same suit on. I was just like, when does this happen? When does this happen?
People, I look at them they're on video, and I'm like, oh my God. And then one guy didn't turn on his video, and the judge asked him to do it. And there's rules. You have to wear the attire, and the judge asked him to do it, and he was like, hold on, Your Honor. And he put it on mute, and you could tell when he came back on, he was like wearing some checkered shirt with a blazer that looked, he looked,
bad. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, even if you're on a Zoom, you still have to respect the court, right?
Oh, there was the cat. Yes. Remember the cat? There was a guy that showed up on video for a court hearing, and he had the cat filter on, and he was saying, Your Honor.
You know what? I never seen
I emailed it to you a long time ago. It was funny.
Did you?
Yeah.
He had a cat filter on?
Yeah, and so he's like, Your Honor, I'm not a cat. I'm not a cat. And the judge kept saying, I think it's a filter. He's like, yeah, my assistant is trying to take off the filter. And his eyes were, the cat's eyes were. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, I have to see that. I have to see that again.
Oh my God. If I could find it and send it to you. It's hilarious.
Yeah. And then we'll play we'll play the apparently kid with it after.
Yeah, I'm going to send it to you. I'm looking at my phone now. It's hilarious.
Apparently. Oh. I need to like hashtag comedy in our shows too, because we do have some comedy during the show.
Oh, that cat! You haven't seen it? My goodness.
No, I don't remember. I might have watched it, because there's times where I'll watch something real quick while I'm like in the middle of paperwork or something, and I watch it. But if I see it and I'm like, oh yeah, it could be one of those things. But I'm trying to remember, and I don't remember. I remember there being somebody on a Zoom call where his kids came in. He was like doing all this shit with his kids or something. But I don't know. I'll have to send it to me if you find
hilarious.
it. I watch.
Anyway, go ahead, continue.
We'll watch it.
Okay.
Let me see here. First, I want to share, and I'm excited because I let them know. I was like, I said, when you guys come on, I would love to have you guys on when I have Yoli on. I was like, I think that'd be a really interesting show to have all 4 of us together. So I was letting them know about you, and I was like, yeah, when you guys come on, we gotta have Yoli
Are
on.
they okay with
So,
that?
of course,
Okay.
I'm telling you, they're both like, she's so sweet, and he is just hilarious as hell. I mean, it's like, you see that you really do see their personalities off camera. Their personalities are like 100% the same off camera. She's so sweet and chill and calm, and he's just he's got his wisecracks, and their personalities are so unique, and they work so well together. So oh yeah, totally awesome. We had such great conversations today. I can't wait to come back on the show again too. It was good stuff. Like, we literally could have kept talking, but we each had things we had to do. So yeah, it's gonna be really cool. They're really, and I was letting them know. I was like, they do such great work. Like the questions that they have and the way that they approach it, and kind of like how they explain their their viewpoints, just very down to earth, very down to earth and logical, and that's what you need in the community. And and I feel like they're going to be one of these channels that is going to be right up there, and it ain't going to take too long. They're going to be one of those channels that's like right up there as one of those main pillars up there, because they have the best approach, and they're very humble people. And when you have the best approach and you're humble, there's nothing but success for you in the future. I don't know. Let's see if she's going back.
It wouldn't surprise me if she's going back, because if the FBI went back, I would think that she would want to be there when the FBI went back. But
what would she go back for, though?
Well, that's the thing. Why did the FBI go back?
Well, because they had corduroy couches on their Nintendo 64 visuals, and they had to go back when they got new technology to use.
Well, maybe
I was going to show that tonight.
Maybe. Well, if a defense counsel inspects a vehicle because it's a product liability issue, then plaintiff's counsel also gets to inspect it. And they usually do it at the same time, but I don't know what criminal law is like. I mean, I don't know.
Let me do this here real quick. We'll put this up here. All right. Yeah, let's check out this video. Now, this is from Harsh. Now, he was talking about what Steve Gonsalves told him. Okay. And so we'll watch this here real quick. Shout out Harsh, and let me share the link to this video. Go show some love on it. And he's got a live tomorrow, 4:45 Central, 5:45 Eastern. There's that. And 1 second, let me put his channel link up there so we can have that showing while I show his video here. The episode's not out yet. It won't be dropping until probably tomorrow morning. They record, and then they pre-record and then do their editing. So it'll probably be put out there tomorrow. And like I said, I had to go off mobile hotspot I was really upset. I had to go off mobile hotspot because the internet was cutting out, and so it might be a little chip choppy, unfortunately, but there'll be many more shows to come. It's a great time. All right, here we go. Harsh.
Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you are all well. It's the midweek hump. That's right, baby. It's the midweek hump already. This week is absolutely flying. And you, by the way, you're looking absolutely amazing. It's good, isn't it? Isn't it better when you hear people say nice things? Because there's so many people around this and not just this platform, the world in general, who all they really want to do is whinge and moan and bitch about everything. So I just want you to know that, yeah, you look absolutely amazing. And what we need to do today, I'm going to do a live later. So we're going to have a chat. We're going to do some backwards and forwards questions. But I appreciate that not everybody has all the time in the world to do live. So I want to split it. And I didn't want you to wait either, because sometimes I'll do the live and then I'll do a video after that kind of condenses things. Unlike the intro to this video, which should have been condensed. But look, yeah, I want to set the stage, because I have indeed spoken to Steve Gonsalves, albeit incredibly briefly. It wasn't a massive, long conversation. I had reached out to Steve, reference the fact that I had received threats. I know there are other creators who have as well, one in particular being Jules of All Trades. She received the threats that I received at the same time. Some of the threats that I received, she was copied into them. They were aiming them at both of us.
Yeah, and when you're a content creator and you're talking Idaho4, Delphi, any of those major cases, thank you, Yoli. You get these threats constantly. Now, there's even been the threats that he's talking about. There's even been community members that have been threatened this same way. And I'm talking about community members have been threatened this same way. Not only the content creators that are making this content, but the people that are supporting these content creators that are making this content are also part of these attacks. And it isn't from just email. It's not just email either. Now, there's instances here where he's been tagged with another creator, and that was the person that was doing it fucking up or trying to use it as a taunt. But I've been working with some people in the background about some of the shit that I've been getting. And there's a pretty good idea. And it might not even be the same person that is, that he's talking about. It could definitely be somebody else. But what I'm saying is there are people out there that are doing this not only to content creators, people who support them, and they're also coming in our chats, and they're the same kind of trolls that are the ones that come in the chats and flag comments from the community, comments that don't even need to be flagged, to try and create all of us to have distance with one another. Their intention is to create distance between one another in our communities, and therefore we don't have a community anymore. See what I'm saying? So we're not only going to attack the content creators in the background, which you guys don't know about because we don't show it on camera. You don't hear about it. You don't see it. Doesn't mean that we don't deal with it. Okay? And then you talk about them also attacking people that support these content creators. And then you have them coming in and flagging comments to then make people go, well, what? How come I said that candy canes are sweet? How come that comment got flagged? And then you're going to look at the show or the mods and be like, that's so rude. They banned me, or they blocked me, or they did this, because that's so rude. See what I'm saying? That's why when it happens, that's why I take a pause, or the mods will take a pause and say, hey, look, guys, there's trolls here. Because we want you guys to understand that there are people that mean harm, and there are people that don't want us to do what we're doing. And so they're attacking us on all different levels in all different ways. Some stuff you guys don't even realize. Some stuff like the flagging comment stuff is something that you guys do see. And that's what they're doing. It's meant to put divides between us creators. It's meant to put divides between us and our community members. It's meant to put division. Therefore, we don't have a collective process anymore. We don't get together and have these nights anymore. We don't enjoy. We don't figure things out. We don't discuss things. We don't question things. We don't. You see what I'm saying? And when he's saying that, you know, they had, you know, personal, like very personal, you know, like that's messed up. It's not. We have to stick together. They want creators to fight. You have people out there making up shit about other creators to make other creators get upset, you know. But that's the thing over here. I don't entertain the shit talking about me. I don't entertain the negative shit that's put out. I don't entertain none of it because I already know. And I know the community knows. So I don't give a fuck what somebody else wants to say about me because I already know the damn truth anyway. And you guys do too. That's why you're here. Because it's you hear some of the shit that's being said, and it's like, what fucking show have you been in, bro? Yeah, when anybody's discussing, and I mean, you guys see it with some of these other channels too. You discuss innocent until proven guilty, and all of a sudden you're a conspiracy theorist. So it exists everywhere, even down to people that are like this big, just coming in to not chat, but flag people's comments, all the way up to personal threats as far as what Harsh is talking about. But you just keep that in mind, and you know that it's there, and you understand that it's not us, it's them. We just have to stick together. We have to do it together, because think about it. MSM has such a money train going. MSM has such a money train going, and the last thing that they want to do is lose their viewership and their sponsorship to people on YouTube. So when I'm saying we have to do this together, it's the damn truth, because we won't survive if we don't do it together, because they are that powerful. They are that money train. And when you have all of the legalities and the funds, you can do whatever you want. But when it comes to collective and it comes to the right thing, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how big you are, as long as you got the right people and the people about the right thing. It don't matter how big somebody else is. I took on 300-pound dudes myself. It don't matter how big somebody is. It's what's here. And when you can do it together, you can accomplish anything. All right, back to this video. I apologize.
Flying, and you, by the way, you're looking absolutely amazing. It's good, isn't it? Isn't it better when you hear people say nice things? Because there's so many people around this and not just this platform, the world in general, who all they really want to do is whinge and moan and bitch about everything. So I just want you to know that, yeah, you look absolutely amazing. And what we need to do today, I'm going to do a live later. So we're going to have a chat. We're going to do some backwards and forwards questions. But I appreciate that not everybody has all the time in the world to do live. So I want to split it. And I didn't want you to wait either, because sometimes I'll do the live and then I'll do a video after that kind of condenses things. Unlike the intro to this video, which should have been condensed. But look, yeah, I want to set the stage, because I have indeed spoken to Steve Gonsalves, albeit incredibly briefly. It wasn't a massive, long conversation. I had reached out to Steve, reference the fact that I had received threats. I know there are other creators who have as well, one in particular being Jules of All Trades. She received the threats that I received at the same time. Some of the threats that I received, she was copied into them. They were aiming them at both of us. And I found that quite, how can I say, quite bizarre, because there are, how can I say, on one hand, I'm aware that there are some other creators on the platform who love Harsh. They absolutely love him. And, you know, and they've kind of made it their mission to build their entire channel and everything they do surrounding my content and moaning about me. Crack on. Crack on. But look.
What's up, Toby?
But what it was these threats were very specific. They were very specific to a specific type of content, and that was content that would discuss Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen. And it did get quite nasty, do you know what I mean? It's got to the point where they were uploading pictures of my family, albeit like really old random pictures and so on and so forth. And what I will say is things like that aren't going to stop me. You know, we're pretty well protected, and it doesn't scare me. You know, I look at things on, you know, this platform, and I know that there's some weirdos about, and we have to sometimes deal with said weirdos, and it's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. And some people can.
It's part of the gig. You should, you know, if you want to be a content creator, you're gonna. It's part of the gig. It comes with it, and if it's something that you have a hard time dealing with, then I wouldn't suggest trying to make a channel, because it's just part of the freaking, it's just part of it. You just have to have the attitude of what they eat don't make you shit, and you'll be just fine.
Get really bent up out of shape when you talk about things that they don't themselves agree with. And, you know, I look at it like this. There's two reasons why people are like this, and that's either that they don't consider you pointless, you know, because for them to get so upset and worked up over content that you create, then you've hit a nerve somewhere along the line. Now, maybe it's because you say something that they know goes against what they believe, and they're upset because of it. It makes them have to challenge what they think, and they don't like being challenged.
Plus, misery loves company. And the people that are so miserable inside don't like it when other people are positive and peaceful. It's just how it is.
Because if it was a case of these people just simply didn't think that anything that you said had any bearing on reality, that you're just talking shit, then I can't understand why so many people seem to get so fixated on it. You know, and it seemingly means so much to them to discuss it and threaten over it. But I'd reached out to Steve, and I'd said, you know, I have received some threats, and, you know, it's bizarre, because I look at it like, from all of the stuff that we've discussed and all of the elements, and we have questioned a lot of people around this case, for somebody to be making the threats and how can I say, and relentless with it, and it's always focusing on these two specific people who are seemingly, in effect, they've backed away from this entire case. I just found it quite bizarre. Took Steve a little bit of time to come back to me, but he came back to me. Came back to me day before yesterday, or yesterday perhaps. Day before yesterday, depending on when you're watching this video. But he'd said, and I'll read it.
You done getting me confused with my fucking days and nights, bro. I was like, is it Tuesday or Wednesday? Damn you, Harsh. Shit.
This is Steve.
I used to rely on
he put treats, but he meant threats, come from an early suspect. We were threatened by just one family. And I thought to myself, well, that's bizarre in itself, isn't it? So what Steve is basically saying is that there was potentially another suspect. Someone had been considered someone who could have potentially been involved, and perhaps that is why we had an original suspect vehicle 1 and suspect vehicle 2. Maybe there was another car in the area, and maybe that got cleared. Maybe it was the DoorDash, for instance. But Steve goes on, like I say, to say that we were threatened by just one family. So I thought to myself, who's threatening Steve? Do you know what I mean? Why would they be threatening Steve? Then I thought, It's very much like we do. We talk about things, we investigate things, we question things, and they then brings in the threats. And you think to yourself, why would somebody get that sort of bent up out of shape that they feel the need to make an account and then reach out in order to specifically threaten you about talking about specific people? And I think that, to me, is a sign that you're saying something that is very, very close to the truth, and it's upsetting someone. And they feel that if this continues going in this direction, you are going to hit on something, or you're going to get other people's attention and they will question it. And look, I'm just spitballing at the end of the day, because it could just be a lunatic on this platform who just feels that we shouldn't be talking about true crime in general. Well, not being funny, but you're watching it because you're getting upset by it. And if people...
Or that person is jealous because their videos aren't being viewed.
Didn't watch it, wouldn't exist. It's supply and demand, isn't it? Supply and demand. If people demand and they want to see this type of content, then people are going to continue to cover it, because you are, again, you're supplying something that there is a demand for. You're just arrogant to think that you can control the narrative of that, like legacy media, again, trying to control narratives. And this isn't like that. You don't have that control over channels like mine. But anyway, it gets more interesting. So again, Steve is saying that he was threatened himself by a family. So I spoke about, he'd asked who the threats were about, and I'd obviously told him the threats were seemingly directed at content and questions surrounding Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk, to which he responded, both families have resources and are being protected because neither want to be part of this case.
See? That was Steve G's response to Harsh saying, well, a lot of these threats are going towards people that have been making content about the two surviving witnesses. And this was Steve's response. Both families have resources and are being protected because neither want to be a part of this case. The more it could be, number one, it can be a content creator. It could be as little as a content creator that's getting upset that nobody's viewing their Idaho4 videos because they're too busy watching all of ours. So it can be that little, where it could all go up to somebody having a, quote, resource to get people to stop talking about it, because the more that we talk about it, what happens? The more questions that exist, and the more questions that exist, the more questions are going to come up in trial, which is every more reason for those two to be part of it.
Yeah. Both families have resources. That's telling.
Oh yeah, they were right at. I wouldn't, Yoli. They were. I'm sure they were as soon as bloop before the phone call, lawyered up. I bet.
Yeah. I mean,
right away.
Yeah, it's really sad that a lot of people with resources can afford to get representation, and good representation.
Yeah.
And it's a thing where it's their right to do that, but how do you not? I mean, how would you want to distance yourself if they were your friends? I mean,
right. Yeah. Right, exactly. There's and that's what I was saying earlier, and I know it's a lot of speculation, but I'm going to be honest with you. The only thing I can think of is that they don't want to be the reason why the statement in the PCA is torn the fuck up, when it wasn't even their fault, because they weren't the ones that twisted their words in a PCA, and I don't know. It's just my speculation opinion. I just feel like they're the ones that know when it comes to their statements. So they're gonna know. They're gonna look at the PCA and they're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, this is how it's being put. Oh man, when I get on the stand and I can't lie, and they're gonna ask me these questions."
Well, it's almost like they're going to have to plead the fifth, even though they may not have anything to do with it. Right. And if they plead the fifth, it's their right to do that, but it makes them look suspect. You know, I mean, it makes them look, I have no idea, but it is true. Like when you look at the rules for the fraternities, and I'm just wondering if that applies to homes that are off campus. You know, the fraternity rules apply to homes that are off campus. And I still struggle with whether Ethan was a part of the sorority, only because one of the guys at the vigil said, he was wanting to come back. He was happy and waiting to come back to the house or something. But
that interview where they sat down for the year after, no,
it was when
what interview?
He talked. He was one of the students that talked at the vigil, in that dark, creepy vigil.
Oh.
Yeah. But
interesting.
I don't know, but it's frightening to think what, I have, some people might have some bad feelings toward the two ladies, Bethany and Dylan. Some people might not, but I don't even know anymore, I don't know.
Let me ask you this. Let me put you in this position. Okay. You just like DM, you heard noises. Something happened to your roommate. The cops come and interview you, and you're lawyered up, and you don't say anything. And when they're asking you questions, you're just like, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. And that's all you said. And then somebody wrote what they wrote. Bushy eyebrows, because she said maybe instead of I don't know. So maybe to me, I'm going to take it as bushy eyebrows. Okay. Right? Somebody twist your words, and then you're going to go on the witness stand and testify that the words in the PCA that was supposedly your statement wasn't your statement. Would you want to be on the stand?
No.
Okay, that's why I think that they don't want to have anything to do with it. How can you, if Kaylee, right, one of the victims, Kaylee, is telling her mom how much she loves those people in that photo, and those two surviving witnesses are part of that photo. They're a part of the group. She's not saying, hey, or she's not saying, hey, can we get a picture of us four real quick? No, it was the whole group. And she said that stuff about her mom. So to say that those two witnesses wouldn't want to make sure that their friends have justice, the only thing that I can think of why they wouldn't want to be part of the trial is what you just said right there. You wouldn't want to be on the witness stand if Ellie twisted your statement to fit a PCA, and then you had to be on the stand to testify against what your statement was on that PCA. That's the only reason I can think of.
Yeah.
What else do you think?
Well, I just think that, again, like, I've never practiced criminal law, but I got like the highest grade in criminal law. That doesn't mean anything, but I would always tell my clients, just don't say anything. Nothing.
Right. And that's what I think took place, because they were already lawyered up when they showed up. They already showed up late.
Nothing.
So that's why I'm like, well, when you look at the wording of the PCA, common words, keywords, common words being used multiple times. You look at that. Then you combine that with the fact of the 8-hour delay, which means we're not talking to nobody. You combine that with the fact that they're lawyered up right away, which means we're not talking to anybody. And that's what leads me to believe that the PCA statements were suggested questions. And then you take all of that and then mix it with what is being stated. That's the reason why they don't want to have any part to do with it, not because they don't want to make sure their friends don't get justice, because they are afraid their friends won't get justice because they get tore up on the stand, because their words were twisted and it had nothing to do with their fault of their own. It was the people that were writing up the paper, and they're not going to get blamed for it because they could go, and who's going to get blamed? The survivors. I'm not saying they lied.
Well, yeah, I mean,
they're going to, it's,
yeah, we don't know. I mean, but you know, if they lawyered up, if they lawyered up before the police came to the scene, if I were their lawyer, I would say, no, sorry.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why they didn't want to let BF get talked to.
Yeah.
Because they were going to be like, oh my gosh, they're going to discover that there's false statements, because BF is going to tell them the truth, right? And it's not going to go along with what the PCA is saying.
And they probably had to say something because there might have been texts between the two. And there you go. I mean, you're right to remain silent. You can't remain silent. You can, but there's text. So, you know, you might want to explain those texts.
Well, they did say
explain it, then they talk to you and put words in your mouth. And, you know, as an attorney, I wouldn't know what Dylan saw or didn't see, you know. I mean, but if there were texts, let's say there's text to that effect.
Well, they said there was text messages. That's where they're coming off. The time of when the crime took place is based off of communications with the cell phones.
Right. But if there were texts, Dylan texting Bethany saying, oh my God, there's a guy here with a mask and bushy eyebrows. If she wrote that,
nobody. I don't think anybody's hating on Steve. Oh, as maybe the people that are attacking Steve, or
the threats.
The threats. I don't. Why? You know, that's what I don't understand, because Steve doesn't talk. They do have content. It's a Facebook group. So really, it is content creation in a way, even though you're not monetized or whatever. But I don't understand why they would be getting threats when it comes to the whole BF and DM, because they've never, other than the interview that I'm going to show you when they sat down with Brian Etten a long ass time ago and said the two people were cleared way too quick and she had a good alibi, but they were like, you know, something doesn't seem right. That's the only time that I've ever heard them talk about BF and DM. You know, so I don't know why somebody would, you know, I don't know why somebody would do that.
And it sounded like he said that there were some families threatening him. Is that right? Or did I misread that?
Just one.
One. Okay.
Yeah, we can go back to it. Let me see here. Let me share it again. It says, we were just threatened by one family. That's what it says right there. That they were just threatened by one family. And then when he was asked about who's the threats that, you know, he was referring to, and he said, well, it's people who are making content regarding the two surviving witnesses. And then this was his response after that.
Wow.
Yeah, he didn't say he was getting threatened from BF and DM. No. He just stated that both families have resources and are being protected. But he didn't state, now this is what's interesting about his first message, he didn't state what family, but he did state one family.
We were threatened by just one family.
So maybe it was one of the families had legal representation, which is what he's referring to over here, had legal representation and said, I would like to make sure that you do not talk about our client. I mean, when, like I told you guys before, in the springtime, when I'm talking about certain individuals that weren't necessarily convicted, but there was a hell of a lot of evidence to show what the fuck they were about, that's when I was reached out from a legal representative a couple times and said, look, I like your show. That's why I'm politely asking you. He said, I like your show. I think you're cool. You have a good approach. I don't like these, and the names were listed. The times I used the names were listed. The episode was listed. And I was like, all right. You know, I looked at it as a really cool fucking heads up, because it's, you know, you go back to those episodes. Yeah, somebody, you know, it was a nice heads up. It was a nice heads up, and I appreciate it. You know, they didn't have to do that. They could have sent me a fucking letter. They didn't do it. They reached out a couple times on email. The first one I thought was a joke. I'm like, this is a fucking troll. Give me a break. And then the next one was very, 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 very professional, and I was like, oh yeah, this shit's real. So that's when we had a conversation. I was like, yes sir. Bloop bloop bloop, gone.
But, you know, in this case where there's threats, that's, you know, it can also be, there might be some obstruction of justice going on with regards to people coming out and talking, you know, because they might feel threatened, and so that's why nobody wants to say anything. And, you know, to get to the bottom of these threats, I mean, it's not something that Judge is going to have to take on necessarily, but I mean, Judge has his hands full already. But, you know, we do know that the FBI did go to Gabriela Vargas's home after she testified. We don't know why. I mean, for all we know, the FBI could be investigating Moscow police. We have no idea why they went there. We don't know if they went there to threaten them.
She went there. Yeah, they went there because they wanted to discuss what she said. Okay, do you remember that part when she was on the stand and she was like, I'm a little uncomfortable saying this? Because she basically admitted that there was an investigation out there that did not do what they were supposed to when it came to what everybody is accusing a certain agency of doing. And she said that it exists, and that wasn't part of I guess a testimony statement that Bill Thompson had. And so that's why he said he didn't know how to defend it, because that wasn't part of what was discussed in her testimony, that, you know, the deposition or whatever. It wasn't part of the deposition. So that's
actually, it was testimony, I guess, because it was in court.
Yeah, testimony on the stand. Yeah. But it wasn't part of the deposition, correct, which was before the stand. And that's where he was like, I wasn't properly prepared to defend this, Your Honor. And that's when he sent the FBI over to her house, because that's when he was like, I needed to see what was going on. I needed to see why she testified on the stand that this shit existed and took place when you didn't put this in your deposition.
Yeah.
So that's why. What's up, Riddler? How you doing? Thank you. I appreciate it.
A declaration.
Huh?
Her declaration, which is like her written statement that she submitted to the court, right?
Yeah, whatever it was.
Whatever it was, yeah. So, and I also remember, and gosh, my mind has so many things on my mind, but didn't Mr. Thompson say that she may have perjured herself? That Gabriela Vargas?
I don't remember that. We would have to go back to that court hearing. I'm trying to think.
I hate to bring things up that I'm not sure, but I vaguely remember that. But in any event, because Ann Taylor brought it up to the judge, and she said after Gabriela Vargas testified, the FBI paid her a visit. And I remember thinking, what? What? Well, and they didn't cross-examine her. The proper, well,
That's what he was saying. We didn't know how to properly. It's like, bro, you don't know how to properly ask a question?
You don't know how to cross. I mean, you have to be prepared. I mean, they didn't cross it. But here's the crazy thing. They reserved their right to do that in a further hearing, but they never did. Then they sent this notice of, we're not going to cross-examine her. It's like, dude, seriously, if you want to rip into this witness's credibility, you do it when she's testifying. You don't, you can reserve your right to prepare. If he wasn't prepared, you reserve your right for a future hearing, but then they submit this notice of non-cross-examination of Gabriela Vargas. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, they went to her home. Like, and that's when we were watching that, and then you see her and she goes, oh, I'm so uncomfortable saying this. And that's when I was like, and then what she said, oh yes, there's been times where they've used the back door and used profiles that didn't have the checkbox marked and all, and it's like, whoa. And that's when I was like, I remember when we were watching that, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be a great witness for the defense here. Like, she's basically saying, yo, I know that this has taken place before. And when that's 1% reasonable doubt. And that's all you need is reasonable doubt.
Well, hell, the 23andMe DNA database was breached. I received this email saying, we're so sorry that, your data may have been compromised by a hacker, my DNA data. And then I'm like, what? Yeah. I'm over here trying to finance it. I mean, seriously.
Did you hear the crazy part of it though? It's beyond it not only, okay, they started off with a low number, 14,000 accounts. Just 14,000, which then lead to 5 million people, because then the 14,000 accounts have all the suggested family members associated with it. So then it balloons to 5 million after that. So then you're going to tell me that it's just 14,000 when it ballooned from 14,000 to 5 million. What is it after the 5 million?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with that? What did they just ask you to change your password or something, or what? What's going on with the 23andMe stuff?
Yeah, they asked me to change my password and all that. But, the point is that I'm never going to click on that thing about they found a brother and a father. So yeah. I almost just want to cancel the whole thing. Like, I did change my password to get in there, and it was interesting. But I also like that they give me updates on health, like genes that they find. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have the gene for Parkinson's, and you don't have the gene for breast cancer. You don't have the gene, they update you on stuff like that. I like that. But then they started sending me these crazy emails like, did you play an instrument before the age of 6? Like, what? Yeah. Were you potty trained? Like, I mean, this crazy stuff. Like, how the hell am I going to know when I was potty trained? Did you talk? I mean, come on.
If they want your DNA, they're going to get it,
Well, they have it.
Yeah. No, I'm saying if people aren't in the 23andMe, they're going to get it anyway. Hell, they'll go out. They'll dig in your trash, people. They'll dig in your trash. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. I guess that could give me some peace of mind, but seriously.
I don't know. That's got to be scary, though. When there's a hack, and it's just the beginning. To say that it's going to be the last time.
I think about some crazy doctors I've sued who are pissed. And I think, oh, shit.
Get back at you. Ann Taylor filed a document about Thompson sent the FBI to her house, and Ann Taylor included an article that backed what Ms. Vargas testified to on the stand. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was a great, and Vargas, she's so cool too. Like, shout out Truth and Transparency. She's been a guest on that show a few times, and she is just so down to earth. She's awesome.
She's just she's probably like me. Right. She's a normal person that grew up somewhere, like in the barrio somewhere, and she has tattoos, and, she's festive.
Yeah.
I said festive because she had like one of those, Mexican sarans or whatever they're called, those blankets. But yeah. Anyway.
Truth Seeker. Oh, we'll get some rest, Kid Kitty. I need to put out Christmas. Yeah. All right. So this is what I was talking about. Okay. So when I was talking about how when he made that statement, that's when I was like, okay. It makes me think I know who they were talking about when they were sitting there talking with Brian Enton about she had a good alibi and was cleared too quick. They were cleared too quick. She had a really good alibi. This is the interview that I was talking about, and I'll share the link of this with you so you can keep it for yourself. And this was from December 3rd, 2022.
You don't have to give a name, but I mean, is it someone that she knew, or?
I have something to say about that. I just feel like there's been a couple individuals that were cleared very fast. That may not, maybe he shouldn't have been. And yeah.
Share the strong alibi.
Just really fast.
If you can
like,
dismiss.
An hour later, and we're like, what?
Yeah, cleared an hour later, and we're like, what?
Can you elaborate at all? I don't know. You don't have to give a name, but I mean, is it someone that she knew, or?
I have something to say about that. I just feel like there's been a couple individuals that were cleared very fast. That may not, maybe he shouldn't have been. And yeah.
Share the strong alibi.
Just really fast.
If you can
like,
dismiss.
An hour later, and we're like, what? And I don't know. I don't know anything about those individuals. I just know they were people that, definitely should have been looked at. And yeah.
I don't know what would prevent you from sharing somebody's alibi.
Right. And I think he's talking about DM and BF. I don't know why you wouldn't want to share their alibi with us if they didn't have anything to do with the crime and they were the two witnesses there. You can't tell us. You can't tell us what they were doing. Like, wouldn't and after his statement from Harsh's video today, it took me right back to this video, and I was like, holy shit. When I'm sitting there thinking that they're talking about some other female that we've discussed in the past, all of a sudden today when I seen this video in my head, and I was like, holy shit. They're talking about the two surviving roommates. They were cleared within an hour, way too fast. Yeah, they got great alibis. One of them. The other one, why can't you share? So what I think took place is they told Steve, look, Steve, we have somebody that was on the second floor. Somebody else, BF, they didn't use it in the PCA. Why wouldn't they tell Steve her alibi? And I think when they're saying she, when they say they, I think they're saying DM and BF. When he says she, I think he's talking about BF. She's got a good alibi. Like, yeah, the two girls were contacting each other and this and that. But then when it comes to BF's witness statement, well, where in the fuck is it? That would be the alibi that they wouldn't know about right there.
That's what I don't understand is why they use DM and not. I mean, there is something written about BF stating something. They didn't use that.
Yeah, because it doesn't fit.
I mean, they can't make a determination of fact. I mean, if they have conflicting stories, they have to present both. That's part of the exculpatory evidence type of thing. You have a police officer takes witnesses that they take statements of witnesses that contradict. Well, you gotta put them both in there, because otherwise you're withholding somebody else's statement and you're using only one statement for the probable cause affidavit. I think that's what they did. Don't quote me, because I'm not reading these documents every day, but that's what it sounds like they did.
Yeah, I think they're talking about BF because that's the alibi nobody knows. Nobody knows. So that's the alibi they don't know. And when you're saying, yeah, that's a great alibi, she's got a great alibi. Yeah, I was there. I was contacting the other girl because they said they're going off the time for the crime based off of the interactions on the cells. Right?
It's
To me, right here, as soon as I seen that statement, when they boom, right to this interview, talking about both of the surviving roommates, not the other girl I thought they were talking about a long ass time ago. And then he is saying she, and I'm saying that's BF, because he's like, why can't you share? You could share with us what DM said. Why can't you share with us what BF is saying? I mean, she's got a good alibi. You're telling us that she wasn't committed. She was cleared right away, that they were in contact and, you know, this and this. But why can't you tell us what her real alibi is? And that's what it is. That's just me, what I'm thinking. Let me see here. What else do we got? Oh, that cat video. I'm going to share that real quick. Since you sent it to me. All right. So we're just taking a small break here for a second. We're going to switch to this cat video that you guys were talking about. Oh, they're both being protected. And that's what Steve's saying. Like, both families, they got resources. They got resources, and they ain't saying shit. Right. Yeah, the exculpatory. Yeah, from the Richard Bittanti Affidavit is where he states that Bethany Funk has exculpatory evidence to show that Koberger is not, and also an experience that only herself, I can't remember the word. I have to find that in my folder. I do need to find the Richard Bittanti so I can start pulling it up. That she has her own experience that only she could provide. So there's definitely some interesting information. That's what made this case so unbelievable. So much interest in it. There were 2 survivors and massacring 4 people, right? And then you're using the recorded audio on the PCA from 11/12, but nobody heard it. And we did have a conversation on the shout out again law offices of Andrew D. Myers and Laney Law. We did have a conversation about the 8-hour delay, and also a conversation about why I feel nobody could have even been in there for 8 hours. So it's a very interesting, what a conversation today. It's too bad we only had the limited time, because I felt like we probably could have did an 8-hour show. There was some great conversations going on, such as this: getting cleared should entail your ass being on video, if not hot seat. Yeah, it's sad too, you know. And what's really sad is we still, it's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks, and we ain't heard shit about this deadline on the 1st. So I don't know how people found out that it's really BK's DNA. I don't know how people found that out.
well,
I'm looking for the paperwork and I don't see it.
well, you know, even if it is, well, I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, damn, that's pretty. Like, what? Okay,
It doesn't matter if it's his DNA that was on the sheath, because the type
that's what
of
people
DNA,
are saying.
the type of DNA that it is not the type that comes from direct contact. It's not the type. It's a touch.
Yeah, transfer.
Cells. It's not mixed with blood or semen or anything like that. But anyway,
Probably UT. Like you got, you know, somebody saying that the Ann Taylor's going back to the property. I'm like, damn, where's the paperwork? I'm still waiting on the IGG shit from the 1st. Where's that at? And then somebody's like, and then there's word like, yeah, it's really BK's DNA, and it's like, right, I'm still looking for the damn paperwork. I don't see it.
Well, we probably
It's that
won't.
damn water cooler. I want to be at that water cooler, you know?
We
I
probably
know.
won't. We probably won't see the paperwork, but because there's a gag order, but
Maybe it's
we'll
just
get to
I only
know
got
whether
4,000.
something. We'll get to know whether some paperwork is
Yeah.
given to the defense at least on
I
that
don't know.
issue.
I'm just wondering where this shit's coming from and the only thing I can think of is maybe it's just because I only got 4K subs or something, like, or I don't have a fake mustache. Ain't no me telling me shit. Like, where the hell's it? Like, maybe I really do need to get that fake mustache. You know, go incognito and then maybe, hey, guess what? It really is BK's DNA. Here's the stuff. Okay, cool. I
Yeah,
don't get to be at that water cooler. Damn it! I want
that
to.
clip-on fried tie just got me all worked up. Zoom hearing.
We've had some great episodes. We had Vinny's turkey last night. We had Vinny's turkey. He had a trifecta. Night before, we had the clip-on conspiracy. we solved the clip-on conspiracy. Uh-oh, is it bugging? Uh-oh, hold on. Grow with a beard? No. No. I know. People keep asking me to grow a beard. I'm like, no. If I do grow one, it'll only be like for a month, because after that, then it just starts itching like crazy and I can't deal with it. So I just shave it off. But I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe in like late January, early February, maybe like then I will grow a beard, because it's gonna be really fucking cold then, and I'll probably actually enjoy having the facial hair for some warmth. But no, not right now. I'm not doing it. IGG must not be available or something. Why would she but here's the thing though, why would she return though? For what? If they've already removed shit and took shit out, you know what? Why would she need to go back? For what? What do you think? I don't think there's anything. What color hair in your beard? It's like a mixture of gray and brown. It's like a mixture. Like my mustache is dark, but like I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like Burt Reynolds, but not like that out in the open. You know what I mean? Like my mustache and my lip hair is like darker, and then the rest of it is like a mixture. If that makes sense. I don't dye my shit either. Fuck that. No. When you dye your shit, it looks so obvious. It's like, no. No. No, I'll never dye my shit. What color hair? Brown. Well, when I was a little kid, up until, I would say until about my senior year. Well, my hair was like bleach blonde as a kid, and then from high school, the last couple years of high school is when it started to change from blonde to brown. So yeah, we've talked about that, the band. That's something all the way back in the day when we're talking about the coffee cup and you picking it up and you not wanting it and somebody else picking it up, and then your shit's on this microphone because it was on the coffee cup that you decided to put back at the store because you didn't want it. And I brought that same point up when we were talking on Law Offices of Andrew D. Meyer's show today. You know, I brought up that same exact point and we discussed it, and I even told him, who's to say it wasn't this? You know, you can't say it wasn't. Who's to say it wasn't one of the victims and they used that to try and defend themselves, and the person that committed the crime is the one that took it, and that's why they can't find it. What if it was a gift from BK to one of the girls? What if it was a gift from BK to Kaylee because he saw her on social media? He knew she was a sleuther and he wanted to do something cool and nice. Who knows? Hey, here, I got 4 of them, right? I got 4 of them. Here, have one, because you never know. Protect yourself, because you never know. And then all of a sudden we hear something, and that's the reason why the sheath wasn't on a belt, is because maybe it was in the bedroom sitting there for protection purposes, and then that's why they took it out of the sheath. And then the person that was committing the crime overpowered them and then took it as a ha-ha. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't say that that's not a possibility. And that would explain why BK's transfer DNA was on there, because maybe it was a gift and he was the one that snapped the button when he gave it to the person. And then because it was in somebody else's custody, that's why all of that other DNA got pretty much covered up with a whole bunch of other dust and DNA and all this other stuff. And that's why you could only find it on the underside of the button, was because it had rubbed up against so many other things by that time. We know how much Kaylee was a sleuther. We know how, I mean, we saw you had Brian Koberger's professors, brilliant, you know, all of this stuff about how good of a student he was, you know, how he was, other than the one student that we had on, that there was on the show when we were watching him from the local news station. Other than that, so to say like he wouldn't have, who says there was no, maybe he did see him at maybe there was a convention, you know, that there was for sleuthers. Maybe there was some kind of event that they ran into each other and he had an extra one and was like, look, you know, here, use this to protect yourself. You never know. That's why the sheath wouldn't be attached to a belt. I mean, it just there's so many things that it could be. Oh wow, that's cool, Ridley. I like that icon photo too. That's cool. Do I burn? No, I don't burn at all when I tan. I don't burn. Once in a while I might burn, but usually I just get dark right away. It don't take me long.
I thought Nina was asking me.
Oh, was she?
I don't know if she was or wasn't.
Oh. Oh. No, it don't take me long to tan though. I tan like that. I just have to be out in the sun, and when you're behind a desk all day, you're not out in the sun. We don't know where it came, you know. And when you look at the Mark Carver case, with the fact that he just had an interview, shook the LE's hand, and then the LE goes and touches the door handle, and the next thing you know, dude's convicted of the unalive. Like, let's go to Cabo. Hell yeah. Shit, I'll just bring the damn laptop and I'll sit on the chair out on the beach and I'll do it from there. Fuck it. So who knows? Who's to say? Like, that's like with the OJ members only that we're doing on Sundays, you know? They left OJ's DNA sample in the damn trunk. Who's to say, you know, that I'm even talking about the Brady Giglio and how the person that probably done fucked up shit is the same person that needed to have the training records exposed because they're the person that was part of the chain of custody when it came to the damn sheath. So who's to say them didn't transfer it on there? Just like Mark Carver, his was transferred onto the victim's vehicle under the door handle. Yeah, the story behind Scream. And what's crazy is they had a showing for that a couple weeks before the crime took place. They had a special screening of Scream in Moscow a couple weeks before the crime. Isn't that crazy? That was something from a long time ago. Yeah, they associated it with the K-bar because it was a sheath for a K-bar. But they said, we don't have the weapon. They don't know the weapon. They don't have the weapon. I'm just saying, who's to say that it wasn't one of the girls's, and that's why it wasn't connected to a belt, and that's why it was laying on the bed, because that you just go grab it off a desk and then you pull it out and you hold it and you're sitting there waiting, you know. Maybe that's why, like I said, who says it wasn't a gift to Kaylee? Maybe that's why Kaylee had the type of autopsy report that Christy and Steve were talking about, because the person was like, not that she was the target, but that she was the one that was trying to, you know, maybe she was the one that was in the position to put up the most fight. Not that she had those types of injuries, but with that, the weapon and her thought process, because if you're into that sleuthing, you have a different thought process. It's like you know, the next person that doesn't have the ability is looking at a lawn, and the sleuther's looking at the lawn, but then they're putting a grid on the lawn because they're looking at all the, you know, there's a difference. Oh, thank you so much, Riddler. I appreciate you for becoming a member. Thank you. Definitely join us on the OJ25 members only that we're doing. 12 noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern for members live. And then for the subs and everybody else, we're replaying the previous week's episode that same evening on Sundays at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. So thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that. We'll be having OJ25 multi-part series going every Sunday through March 2024. So it'd be really cool. I even invited Andrew and Laney on for one of those, or even more if they would like to. I think it'd be cool. Even Harsh, have them on some of the OJ25 members only. I think it'd be sweet. All right, let's get to this video, this cat video that you shared with us here real quick, and then we'll get into some more of this stuff. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. I appreciate you so much. And like I said, thank you again for your company and conversation. And thank you again, Yoli, for hanging out. And thank you again, law offices of Andrew D. Myers and Laney Law. Wait for that video to drop. What a great conversation, and I can't wait. We're going to have plenty more.
Mr. Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take a look.
Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here trying to, but
poor kitty. Poor kitty.
I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I can see that. I think if you click the up arrow next to this.
Oh, it cut out. Why did it cut out? Where's the rest of it? Oh, is there like a longer video? I want to see more. That was so cool. The beginning of it, his cat eyes were like all looking like here, right here. Like, oh shit. Oh, no way. All right, here's the link for this. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, the cat eyes. I'm not a cat. I'm not a cat. That was awesome.
There was a long one. I was on mute.
No, it's only 48 seconds. It
No,
stopped.
there was-
Watch it. Like,
You
I
might
think I
want to,
sent you the.
no, this is the one you sent.
Oh,
Yeah.
For you, I think it's.
It just says it, and then it cuts out. So if somebody has a longer version, let me know.
there is a longer version.
Is there? I want to see more. He's like,
I
I'm not a
didn't
cat.
find it.
I'm not a
Look at
cat.
the judge. That's how we
Not a
are.
cat. Oh,
That's how we
shit.
are in court. We're like. I mean,
I've never seen that.
Oh dear, let me find the long one.
Oh, thank you, Lola. I appreciate you becoming a member too. Trust me, you don't want to miss these OJ shows. We're having a really good time. And that's why I wanted to make it available for everybody too, the previous week's episode later at night, because I know it's hard to with the economy and stuff. So I really do appreciate you.
Keep
Yeah,
going.
find it. Let's find it. Yeah, thank you. What's up, Miranda? Ticket number 71. All right, we're going to get in. So I wanted to show that Steve Gonsalves and Christy and Olivia interview. All right, we're going to get into some of these fresh notes, old notes episodes here. And we are going to have some stuff about the witnesses. Now, I do want to get into this first. Well, shit, let me think. No, I don't know. I don't think we'll have enough time to get tonight. Let me stick to the witness stuff, and then we'll make sure we for sure get through that. So there was I wanted to bring up the PCA when it came to the statements. And then there's a couple videos I want to share with you guys. All right, so I don't know why it doesn't get bigger than that. Oh well, we'll just roll with that. What's up with the time? What's up, Moonlight? It's already 10 Eastern, and I'm only gonna be going maybe another hour and a half, and so I want to make sure that we get into the PCA because I was gonna do this 10 seeds video. That it's called where's it at? Top 10 seeds Brian Koberger planted to sway a jury. Was it a mistake or a master plan? And I thought I wanted to share that and watch that with you guys, but I also want to go through the PCA and go through a couple short videos of a couple content creators we enjoy when it's discussing some of the witness stuff for that. So let me go to the statements here. I wish I could make it bigger. Hold on. Let me try this. You know, StreamYard comes out with all these updates, but they don't fix their shit. That's not good. No, it's not even. I guess that's better than what it is, right? It's a little bit bigger for you guys. Yeah, we'll be on for like another hour and a half or so. Good night, Moonlight. I'm just saying, Debre. It only, I mean, you just, I know some of this shit is kind of like, I've always been told some shit's in the outfield, but I like the outfield too. Two of the interviews included BF and DM. Both BF and DM were inside the King Road residence at the time of the crime and were roommates to the victims. BF's bedroom was located on the east side of the first floor of the King Road residence. Based on numerous interviews conducted by MPD, ISP, and FBI, as well as my review of the evidence, I have learned the following. And this is one of the, again, you know, I brought this up before, and this is one of the things that I wanted, you know, now that we're getting into this PCA stuff for another night, you know, when it comes to the statements of, you know, what took place during the crime. This is a statement that I continue to ask, what the fuck? When you're telling us that Chapin and Kernodle are seen by BF at the Sigma Chi house at that address from just like if you're going to listen to him on, it's one of the things I brought up earlier show I was like, you can't tell me they have Koberger in their crosshairs when on 12/8 they're saying and asking for individuals in reference to the white Elantra. They're said individuals on 12/8. You can't tell me that BK was in their crosshairs as one person that committed the crime if on 12/8 you're asking for information either or, because he said either or, they were either at the crime, at the scene of the crime, or they were around. Either or, which means one or the other or both. And then when you're asking about information from, you say individuals. So you can't sit there and tell me that on 12/8 you had BK in your sights because you said individuals. You wouldn't have said individuals, because one of the things that got brought up in the show earlier was about how they had his name on the 28th or 29th of November. And they were talking about you know, the BK being in their sights, and I said I'm going to be honest with you. I said I don't even think they had BK in their sights until and not that he wasn't a name, and I don't want people to get confused because people are like, oh, they knew about BK. No, yeah, I know they knew about his license and his car, but what I'm saying is he wasn't, quote, their primary suspect until the end of December, in my opinion. And I think he wasn't their, quote, primary suspect until the end of December. And then that's why everything happened so quick. That's why the PCA looks rushed. That's why you look at the timeline. Trash was collected on the 28th. Then it was or collected 27th or 28th. Then the next day, ISP got it. Then the next day, it's like boom, 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 boom. When you're looking at it and you're like, whoa, this DNA shit takes way longer than that. It's not some overnight fucking process. After a couple hours, you're talking test after test after test after test after test after test. So the way that it went boom, 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 when I'm hearing you say individuals on December 8th and on, when you look at that December 8th interview, it doesn't even sound like he's saying the car was the one that committed the crime. To me, he's asking for information like the white car was around and they want to know what they saw. Like, to me, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, no, that's why I'm saying I don't think they didn't even make him be a primary until right at the end of December. And then it went boom, 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 arrest. Everything happened one day after the next, after the next, after the next, very quickly. Thank you, Lola. Current statement. Detectives are the tip line's still open. And it is weirdly written. It was rushed. When like I was telling them earlier, I said, if that was me writing that document, I would have damn cross-checked every freaking thing that I wrote, even if it was a street or a city. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit there and fill out a document of that importance and have Uniontown, Idaho, when it's Uniontown, Washington. Do you know how sloppy that is? That just means you just quick fucking wrote that thing up. That's why shit's all over the place. That's why when I'm sitting there, when I'm in Moscow and Pullman, and I'm like, all right, let me pull up this PCA. I'm going to write down, I had Google Maps up there. I'm like, all right, I'm going to write down where I turn left and I turn right and all this other stuff, because I wanted it to be one fluid trip. One recording, one fluid trip. And when I'm sitting there and I'm literally like going, what the fuck? I'm sitting here trying to do this map out, and I'm like, but hold on. It says this, but no, it's actually this. And you're trying to, like, it was one of the most difficult, like, trying to map out the freaking route according to the PCA. I'm just like, what the fuck? And the people that I were talking to in the background when I was doing it out there, that they know what I'm talking about, because it was like, I'm sitting there going, How is this? It took forever. I finally did it. But yeah, it's all over the place. A C minus. Yeah. Like it's so sloppy, you know? And why wouldn't you? Seriously, all you have to do when you're filling out this document is look up on your computer, go to Google and type in Uniontown and see what the hell it pops up, and then double check your. Okay, whoops, I put Idaho. Let me make sure I put Washington. You know? It means you didn't even double check your shit. You just threw it together and submitted it. You didn't even double check. Yeah, too much where you're like, what? Because I finally got it, but damn, it was like, yo, especially when you're like, I believe that they went this way. I'm like, man, I got to get this shit right before I even went and drove it. So, but this is what I'm saying. And this is what makes me wonder, again, about the wording of the PCA, because it's always been stated that we don't know where Ethan and Zaina went after 9 p.m. during the altercation. And what I've been saying is when you look at this, what do you mean? Because to me, I'm looking at it and it says that BF saw that they were at the Sigma Chi house from approximately 9 p.m. until 1:45 a.m. on November 13th. That's what it says. I mean, look at it. On the evening of November 12th, Chapin and Kernodle are seen by BF at the Sigma Chi house from approximately 9 p.m. on November 12th to 1:45 a.m. on November 13th. BF also estimated that at approximately 1:45 a.m., Chapin and Kernodle returned to the King Road residence. To me, that says that not only I seen them at the party, but if you're telling me it only took you a minute, and you know that it only took you and them a minute to get back, you were walking with them. How else are you going to know this? You're looking over there with some fucking binoculars from the Sigma Chi house? How else are you going to know this? The only way that you're going to know this is if you followed them home. And it might only take a minute for you. It's going to take a little bit more than a minute, but it might only take you a minute to get there, because literally it isn't that far of a walk. It really is not. It's not. So forget the fact that it's 1:45. Oh gosh, how'd they get there in 30 seconds? No, forget that. Look at the fact that she's stating that she's seen them from 9 p.m. to 1:45 a.m. and that they arrived at home at 1:45 a.m. And to me, that's like she went there, she was there when they were at the party, and she walked home with them. How else would she know this information? And again, these can be twisted statements based off of not saying anything. Yeah, I seen him at 9. You know, you can answer some. You know, they're not going to say, or they'll be like, okay, yes, you can answer this. No, don't answer that. You know? Yeah, you can answer that. You seen him from 9 o'clock to 1:45. You can answer that. You seen him at 1:45 at the property. I don't know. It doesn't tell many latent footprints which part of the vehicle we can't. Right. And when we drove you guys, Yoli and I did an episode on it where I showed you guys the footage. We went through all the surveillance, and that's another thing I was telling Andrew and Laney, like, when you see all the surveillance available and you're telling me that this dude stalked the property I said, if you stalk the property, you're already going to know where you're going to park. You're already going to know how you're going to access the property. You're already going to know what time you're going. You're already going to know what goes on at that time that you get there, because if you're stalking the property and you're going to try and commit this crime to get away with it, wouldn't you put yourself at the same time period at another time to see what the hell's going on at the same time period that you're going to commit the crime? So to sit there and act like this person's going to drive all over the place, the one thing that they're trying to be an intern for to help Pullman PD, public safety surveillance, you're driving all over the fucking places, the public safety surveillance in both towns, and you're not going to take the route that you only have 4 cameras that's off of an airport, which is only going to show your car about that fucking big off of a surveillance camera from an airport. When you go in front of a freaking intersection, when there's cameras in every direction, and sometimes there's not just 4 cameras, there's 6 or 7 at that intersection, and you're telling me when your car would show up this fucking big on a picture, you're going to drive all over the cameras that would show your car this big and not go by the airport that would show your car this fucking big? And you're telling me that you stalked this crime or this property? You're telling me that you planned this out? That you're, like Vinny, you asked all these questions to find out how they got away with it. It makes no damn sense whatsoever. I don't know. When you look at this, that's what I'm saying, Aaliyah, and that's what we've always... Where'd they go after 9 o'clock? Where'd they go? Where'd they go? Where'd they go? But you look at the PCA, and it's like it doesn't tell you that they left. BF is stating that she saw Chapin and Kernodle at the Sigma Chi house from approximately 9 p.m. to 1:45 a.m. and then that they were home at 1:45 a.m. And it might just say approximately 1:45 because they said, well, how long did it take your group to get back? I don't know. However long it takes us to get back. Okay, so it was approximately the same time. There you go. 1:45. That's why I'm like, it's not that big of a deal when it comes to that. But when it comes to from and to, then why are we even asking where they went after 9 p.m. if right here it's telling us from 9 p.m. until 1:45 a.m. they're at the Sigma Chi property according to BF? All right, let me see here. We're going to get to... This is a video from Casper West. Now, do you guys remember, and even the Howard Bloom article, it's still a topic of conversation. And so this is one of these videos. This is from Casper West. We love Casper West over here. Talking about the roommates awake and supposedly texting during the crime. Now, I know it's Howard Bloom, and I know the shit from Howard Bloom was like a lot of shock value. And in the very beginning, he's, well, I never talked to him. And then all of a sudden, there's a whole bunch of shit like he talked to him. And then what happens? Howard Bloom gets a bunch of blowback. And I told you what he's going to do. Well, I said everybody in the beginning that I didn't talk to him. So that's exactly what took place. Got a lot of clicks and views for saying a lot of outlandish, crazy-ass shit that is dangerous to potential members of a jury in the future when it comes to this case. But do I think those things took place? Damn straight I think those things took place. Because if you're telling me that 1112 ring audio is used as part of the PCA, then you're you're fucking crazy to sit there and tell me that the people inside the house didn't hear what the ring cam recorded. And I'm sorry, you're not hanging around for 8 hours with that smell either. All right, now when it comes to DM statement, then we're going to move to a couple of these videos here. And I will be back tomorrow. The internet people are coming between 2 and 4, so I'll be able to do my morning show. We'll see what happens. I'm going to have the mobile hotspot available at the drop of a hat if we need to switch. I will be back tomorrow morning. I will be back tomorrow night, so we'll be doing 2 shows tomorrow after we end the show tonight. And we're going to be getting into some more of this stuff too. Right here at approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. Okay, but what's the thing that activated the camera to record the whole time, which is recording what the audio is? Because if something's not in front of the camera the whole time, then it's not going to keep recording. I have them. I know. I have a shit ton of them. I know.
In the back of my mind, I want to say that they said a cat activated it.
That's what's been said, but it's speculation. That's why I don't really bring it up. But when it comes to the voices, whimper, and loud thud, who's to say? And this is why I've always said we've always talked about the ladder since the beginning. We've always talked about that little part of the roof. I was called crazy as a motherfucker and laughed at because when the case first came out, I said, who's to say the person didn't jump off that little part of the roof outside Ethan and Zaina's window? Oh, you need to quit starting conspiracy shit. Oh my gosh, people, don't watch him because he starts conspiracies. That's the shit that I heard. Maybe that was the thud. Because I've always said, okay, if you're sitting there telling me that the door was blocked and they had to have 3 people show up and try and open the door, well, to me, if you don't know how somebody left the crime, well, then they probably left out the fucking window, bro. Because if you don't have shit leading out the door, well, they probably went out the fucking window. And since I didn't see your ass testing the ladder, and I didn't see your ass testing the roof for any kind of evidence, that's probably how you came to the conclusion you don't know how the person left the crime because you didn't investigate the fucking ladder and the fucking roof. And by the way, everybody, a couple weeks ago when I was there, the ladder was still there, people, in the same spot. So who's to say that the voices in the whimper weren't the last part of the crime taking place? And they exited out the window, and the loud thud was because they jumped from the fucking little roof to the fucking gravel. Voices, I'm here to help. Finishes whatever they're doing, quote, help in a weird, sick way. Hops out the window, jumps off the little roof, and goes to their vehicle or whatever the fuck they were doing. That could be the voices, whimper, and loud thud. But to state, I mean, that's some damn luck. I'm going to tell you right now, that's some damn luck. If you had a little cat or something out there walking around in front of the camera the whole time while that shit's going on, that would be some damn luck. Because that thing's only recording as long as something's moving, and then maybe a second or 2 afterwards, and then it's done. It only records when there's activity on the display. So that would have to be seriously what a frickin' miracle. What a frickin' miracle if there was an animal or whatever it was that was allowing that security to be able to record that audio at the same exact time. you talk about winning the lottery. That's more than winning the fucking lottery. That's some very damning, very damning evidence if it's real and if it is part of the crime. I mean, to have it is possible. Yeah, it's very possible. But what I'm saying is damn, that's damn lucky. That is so lucky. So lucky. I mean, that'd be like somebody, in a subway falling down and somebody jumps down there to grab them and pull them back up, and right at the last fucking minute and their damn shoe flies off, but nothing happened. Like that, it's that fucking lucky kind of shit. Like, whoa, you're talking about odds. That's some odds. DM stated she opened her door. Here, let me go back up here. So, DM stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. DM stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Consalvis playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the third floor. A short time later, DM said she heard who she thought was Consalvis saying something to the effect, "There's someone here." Now, who's to say that the person, I've already showed you the back of the property, who's to say they didn't climb the third floor patio, enter the sliding glass door on the third floor, go hide in the fucking closet until they heard people come home, played with the puppy real quick because they had to exit the closet and leave that bedroom. So they're going to play with the puppy that loves everybody real quick. Then the person downstairs is like, oh, a roommate's playing with the puppy, when it could have been the person that was about to commit the crime. Then all of a sudden, DM states, oh my gosh, I heard something from upstairs say there's somebody here. That could be when Kaylee or Maddie could have grabbed the K-bar in the sheath for their protection and had it ready. And then a review of records obtained from a forensic download of Kernodle's phone showed that she could have been also cellular indicate at approximately 4:12. So that's why I've always said, who's to say it wasn't the person that committed the crime getting on her phone? Come on now. DM stated that she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. DM stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying from Kernodle's room. DM then said she heard a male voice saying something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." Now, who's to say that wasn't Ethan? "It's okay, I'm going to help you." Who's to say? All it says is a male voice saying something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." It doesn't say who. It says male, but what it does is it adds a little flavor to the PCA, don't it? Oh my gosh, what a sick person. He said, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." What a sick person that did that. When we don't even know if it was Ethan saying it to Zaina because something happened. He knew what was going on and he was trying to say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you," even though maybe it might not, right? At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road residence immediately to the northwest picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper numerous times starting at 4:17. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Kernodle's bedroom. It is not less than 50 feet. It is 65 to 70 fucking feet, people. And that's going from one straight point to another. That's not accounting for the change where the sound waves would have to travel. You're going through a structure just to get 65 to 70 feet. It is not less than 50 feet. Maybe if you look up at it, you go, "Oh no, it's about 45, 50 feet." Then maybe. Maybe. DM stated she opened the door for the third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. DM described the figure as 5'10" or taller male, not very muscular, but athletically built. Not very muscular, but athletically built. What the fuck does that mean? Not very muscular, but athletic. athletically built. What does that mean? Live view does not record motion activation, but live view, that's pretty damn lucky again. I mean, I have the cameras, Kelly. Like, I'm telling you, it's pretty damn lucky. Like I'm saying, if somebody's going to be up at that exact same time, I'm not even putting live view in there, because if you're live viewing that camera at the exact same time, then you probably had something to do with the fucking crime, dude. You know? So I'm not even trying to entertain that, because why else are you going to need to look at your camera in live view? You know? Because you would have to be looking at it in live view before the sounds. So, again, you're talking about crazy lotto chances. You know what I'm saying? So to me, and that's why I don't even bring it up about the live view, because to me, if you're hitting live view at that same time, to me, you're part of the fucking crime. And I'm not saying anybody at 1112 has anything to do with it. And so I don't even, I'm just saying when it comes to like the recording, you know, because I have the service where it records and keeps it on file and you can save it and all this zoom in and all this shit with it, right? That right there, and I know because like inside my house, I'll have it where it activates because cars driving by and a reflection from their car goes through my front door window and hits the fucking wall in the living room. And next thing, I'm getting a notification that somebody's in my living room, but somebody's not in my living room. Really, it's just reflection off the wall. I love the fucking security. I mean, I have them all over the place. Hell, the shit will go off like if it's a really windy day and my front screen door shakes a little bit because of the wind. Somebody's at your front door. I love it. I love it because ain't nobody doing shit. You know what I'm saying? And if you are, you're on fucking camera, bro. Night vision and all that shit. Have fun. So the fact that, you know, yeah, that could happen. But really, the chances when you're talking about 4 a.m. when there's not that much activity, okay? There's not that much activity outside. There's, whether it's animals, people, bugs, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, at 3-4 in the morning, they call it dead time for a reason, because a lot of shit is just settled. There's not activity. So that's why I'm like, man, there's a lot of what's up. Typically, that would take a lot of odds to be in that favor. And you know what? If it did take place, because I'm not saying it's not true, if it is real, there was some angels, you know, there was some angels looking over or something, because that shit is the fact that is could have what been taken. I mean, wow, the chances, you know what I mean? The chances. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Typically not unusual. Yeah, I mean, and you bring up a good point, Kelly, with the live view. But to me, if you're on live view, you know, why else would you be looking at it? You know, and when they went to that house the next, you know, that same day, and they interviewed those people, they specifically asked them, and those people said no. I remembered the interview. They were standing out there on the porch. Cops were in questioning them, and they said that they didn't hear or see anything. So to tell me that somebody was on live view at that property, if they were, then you knew what the hell was going on, or you heard something, and that's when you went to live view. Because I'm gonna be honest, there's times where I might hear something and I go straight to my live view and I start looking around. I do it, you know. Just because you don't hear something go off, because it's got speakers and lights and all sorts of shit. So really, I could click on it and listen to shit if I wanted to. not to say, but if you're doing that, then I'm sorry, you either know something because you were watching live view, and if you heard it, well, then you heard it being recorded because it played on your shit, then you heard it, or you saw something or saw somebody leaving or something, and if you were on the live view, then you would have had to see the car leave as well, because you can see that corner right there. So then to sit there and tell investigators this later on that day that you didn't see nothing or hear nothing, I don't see you being, unless you're lying or you're part of the crime, I don't see anybody being on the live view. So it would have to be some kind of animal chilling on the porch, a cat licking its leg or something, chilling on the porch next to the pumpkins. I don't know. Thank you, typically. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully everything gets better.
DJ, that was a good rendition of a cat licking themselves.
Yeah, like going,
I used to have 2 cats that did exactly
like
my cat would fall from the stairs and then she would act like I need to do that.
Yeah, like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna share this quick video here. Let me see what we got. 9:30. I think I'm gonna try my ass off to get to these top 10 things here after these. So we'll play this one. This is from Casper West. I appreciate the hard work and the efforts that they do. Let me switch it up for us, and we're going to check out this quick video from them. And this one's discussing, sorry if the internet's being all shitty, I'm hoping tomorrow to get fixed, but this one is about the texting.
The killer potential.
The authorities have said many conflicting things. It was targeting. It wasn't. Maybe one person was targeted. Maybe the residence was targeted. Now, police believe the surviving roommates likely slept through the murders.
That one of those roommates did not simply sleep through this ordeal, but actually saw the killer potentially inside of her home. I want to read you part of that affidavit, which reads, quote, the roommate states she looked out her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. Roommate stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernodle's room. Roommate then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, quote, it's okay, I'm going to help you. Later, that affidavit reads, quote, the roommate stated she opened her door for the 3rd time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. And then it reads, the male walked past the roommate as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male walked towards the backsliding glass door. Roommate locked herself in her room after seeing the male. That's the first time.
A few moments later, she heard a lot of noises. She opened her door and effectively kind of yelled out to her roommates, calm down, like cut it out, keep it down. You guys are being loud. I'm trying to sleep. It's late. Thinking that there were roommates horsing around, that perhaps all that noise that she was hearing was just them, being boisterous and still in party mode. It was late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. So she then closed her door and went back to bed, but within minutes, perhaps sort of roused again by noise, opens the door again, was going to say something again to the effect of, keep it down already. It's the middle of the night. And that's when she sees the figure coming towards her. Bethany never, ever emerged from the basement room. Like, she never came upstairs. She left the home and was outside in the chaos in the front of the house, but never did go to that 2nd floor, never did see the carnage. She wasn't part of the discovery of the bodies. She was the only one living in the basement at that point.
The murders apparently happened sometime between that 3 a.m. and when the call came the next morning, Sunday morning. That is when one of the unidentified roommates called 911 with a report, this is interesting, of a single unconscious person. That was the 911 call. Police arrive, find not an unconscious person, but a dead person and 3 others, all apparently and obviously murdered.
If there's one thing that hasn't been consistent in this case, are the stories from the two surviving roommates of what occurred on the night of the murders, which makes many question what really happened and what are they hiding? Many people said that if a murder occurs, they will call 911. Many agreed that maybe at first they will freeze up, but eventually they will call 911. No one ever said they wouldn't ever call 911 right away, unless, of course, you had something to do with it and don't want the police to know.
A new report claims the two roommates who survived the massacre were awake and texting each other while their four friends were stabbed to death one by one. This new revelation reportedly coming from grand jurors on the case and leaked to family members.
Now, that being said, anonymous leakers are sometimes, number one, difficult to verify and sometimes difficult to identify. So it truly depends on the nature of the communication and whether or not that person can actually be tracked down. But keep in mind, anything that comes out in the public outside of the courtroom could potentially find its way into the trial.
On October 7th, 2023, AML writer Howard Blum wrote an article in the point of view of Stephen Gonsalves. The article stated that the roommates were allegedly texting each other while the massacre was taking place. According to AML, the texts were revealed by a grand jury source. The Gonsalves family immediately came out stating that this is untrue, with Steve stating, "It's a free world and people can write and say anything they want these days." He also went on to say, "I was recently sent an article on AML by Howard Blum describing Kaylee apparently quoting me and completely making up a fictional story about FBI letters." Lastly, he stated, "I just want to make it very clear to the public that we have not spoken to Mr. Blum about the death of our daughter." The writer in the AML piece made reference to a grand jury source who allegedly told Steve that the two surviving girls were texting one another during the massacre. Blum responded to the backlash stating, "We both agree on that. I have never interviewed him." He also clarified that the article was based on a trove of text he wrote, public statements, and interviews with people close to him. If you noticed, Steve has consistently kept his options open that someone else could be involved or possibly that Brian isn't the killer.
Where you sit today, are you certain that Brian Kohlberger is the killer?
With what you know.
I don't trust anybody or anything, so I have to see it myself. I have to see everything.
That's not where you are.
No.
With common sense, but I'm not a professional, so I want to specify that. But they've said the entry point was the slider or the window. It was in the middle floor. So to me, he doesn't have to go upstairs. His entry and exit are available without having to go upstairs or downstairs.
I think Steve knows more information than we think, and the arrest of Brian Kohlberger doesn't sit right with him. I believe he knows deep down it doesn't make much sense.
Your mind is still open to the potential, of course, that it could have been someone else.
Of course. Yep. I go into that 100%. Yep, of course.
Now, this raised an alarm for me when the FBI recently decided to revisit the murder home.
But this week, FBI agents are once again entering the home to get more information as the prosecution prepares for suspect Brian Kohlberger's long-awaited trial.
The FBI and the prosecutors actually agreed and signed off in support of demolishing the home months ago. So why would they go back? They claim it was for 3D modeling, but is it possible they're keeping their options open? Or maybe it wasn't as detailed in their search on the first look.
This week, FBI agents headed back to the scene of the crime to collect more information for the coming trial.
Yeah, we were out there. We saw the FBI going into the house. Kind of came as a surprise because, we were under the assumption that they didn't need the house anymore. The prosecution had signed off on the house being demolished. The families of the victims fought that, and kind of came as a surprise when the FBI showed back up at the house.
It seems like they rushed in determining the suspect in this case. Even with using the genealogy DNA, there were errors on how that DNA was obtained. Either way, a visit to the home after signing off for it to be demolished shows a complete lack of care when handling this case. If you were like me and thought from day one that Kohlberger would be set free, then you are ahead of the game and ahead of the mainstream media. Because many people are just now realizing it.
So when you look at the Koberger case, in a nutshell, it's a very circumstantial case. They have some DNA, but they don't have their blood in his car. They don't have a whole lot of other things. Now, and they didn't get him until about a month or so later. That's when they first returned on to him, and he was back in Pennsylvania. So this is a very complicated, circumstantial case that the state could lose because the standard is beyond a reasonable doubt.
Brian Koberger, release date January 27th, 2024.
Ian Koberger appears yet even more innocent than he did just yesterday. It's Alice, and it's time for News in Wonderland. Do you remember when Brian Koberger chose not to enter a plea? He just stood there silent, and then the judge had to give the not guilty plea for him. And people were wondering, why did he do that? And I said, there's only one reason he did that, because he doesn't think that he should have been indicted at all, that this entire court is a sham operation to cover for people who really did what happened in Moscow, Idaho, which we all know is probably the cousins of the lead investigator.
We have a bombshell twist in the Brian Koberger case. Apparently, not only was his DNA not found in key crucial areas it should be, they found other male DNA, and his lawyer is now saying that Brian Koberger has no connection to the Idaho4.
Now, if this grand jury source is true, which I think is very well likely, since Dylan admitted to being awake during the murders. Bethany's room is located right underneath Xana's room, and the house is very old and creaky, so you'll hear every footstep.
You can't walk up any of the stairs or on any of the floors without everybody in the house knowing it. A lot of students are very familiar with the inside of the home around the community. There have been thousands of people that have likely been through it throughout the years. Even when we had it, there were people that would come and knock on the door or walk in thinking that it was somebody else's house.
The roommates also called friends to the house before calling 911. So I believe, based on this information we have so far, it's highly likely that they were up and those texts will be used in court, and I cannot wait to see what they say. What do you think those texts say? What were the roommates talking about during the murders?
Asking each other, are you awake? Oh my gosh, are you hearing what's going on? What the hell's going on? Let me, Yeah, I'm pretty damn sure. If one of them was awake, damn straight, they're texting the other one or calling or something. And when Ellie's stating that they're coming off of their timeline based off of the activity on the phones, well, duh. I know Howard Bloom said some crazy ass shit, but that's one that actually makes complete sense. What's up, Thomas? It's one that makes complete sense.
Hi, Thomas.
Great video by Casper West. I love that channel. He does awesome shit. Here's the link for that video, and I'm gonna share in Idaho4. Whoa! All of my comments disappeared on StreamYard. Okay, StreamYard. Here's the link for that. And I'm gonna get to one more. This is from Idaho4 Revealed. We love their channel too. And then after that, we're going to get to, I'm going to show you guys the technology that the FBI used the first time they did the 3D scan, and I'm going to show you another video of the technology that they used when they just went there, so you can I'm going to share both videos with you, and you can do plenty more research from the second video that I'm going to share you when it comes to the updated visuals that you get. It is a humongous difference. I don't think they went in there because tunnels were discussed earlier this year on the show and on Rory's show. It's not the tunnels. It's not because
and Idaho4 revealed the tunnel vision.
Yeah, well, that's not when it. Yeah, the only tunnels that should be discussed in the case is the tunnel vision. Yeah, because every city has tunnels, yo. If you guys want to see some really cool fucking tunnels underground, check out Las Vegas. Check out Las Vegas. They have a whole community that lives and thrives on these underground tunnels. Thank you. I appreciate you, Riddler, and I appreciate Brittany J too. She does a lot of hard work for the victims, the communities, and the families. And I do appreciate all the hard work she does. And thank you for hopping in and checking out the show. I appreciate you. So yeah, when it comes to these tunnels, no, the FBI went back there because I showed you guys a leather couch looks like corduroy with the Nintendo 64 3D shit they were using. They probably were like, yo, we're gonna need something a hell of a lot better than this. And now we got this new equipment. Let's take this new equipment. Let's go back. Let's get it done right, because they know they're gonna have to get it done right because of all the weird the shit that we're questioning now. They have to. So here's the link. I'm gonna share both of these real quick. Actually, no, I need to go to that Idaho 4 revealed video first.
Yeah, I like Idaho 4 revealed.
Let me go to that, and then we will share the technology here. So this is Idaho 4 revealed.
They do play on words.
Let's see. So here's this Idaho 4 revealed. And we'll get into this short video here. And I'm going to share the technology. And then after that, we'll get into the top 10 seeds before we end the night. Thank you all for hanging out.
Unreliable eyewitnesses are contributing.
Oh, that's loud. Hold on. Here we go.
For many criminal investigations, eyewitnesses remain one of the most important sources of evidence. Unfortunately, our memory can be faulty, and witnesses, despite their best efforts, can provide inaccurate statements. This can have terrible consequences. For example, research suggests that unreliable eyewitnesses are a contributing factor in over 2/3 of wrongful convictions.
Isn't that crazy? Over 2/3 of wrongful convictions, eyewitness statements. Especially if they're meant to fit.
Detailed in the affidavit that she saw these things. We don't know. He's moving around in the dark. He's got this mask over his nose and his mouth.
That potentially a jury might want to see it. There's sights and sounds and viewpoints and angles. It's an odd shaped house where witnesses were standing.
It's 9:10. Guys, can anybody drop me class? I'm supposed to be there 10 minutes ago. Did anybody do their chores today? Fuck, I'm just gonna do it.
Sorts of things can influence the accuracy of eyewitnesses. This includes factors like lighting or distance, but also more complex psychological factors like your past knowledge or prejudices. The interviewer is key in improving the quality of eyewitness evidence. By asking open-ended, non-leading questions, interviewers increase their chances of obtaining accurate statements.
Mm-hmm. Or asking leading questions, then investigators obtain a statement that they need, right? I know I'm going to get in trouble for that song right there. Who told the truth between DM and BF? Was it? Oop, hold on. Was it a? Dang it! Was it a black-clad male or a naked male that exited, or other? Who told the truth, DM or BF? Like Steve said.
Or both. They both could be telling the truth.
Mm-hmm. And who knows how old this statement is, too, you know? It could have been a statement that was made right after everything took place, and that's what she was doing. The stepmom. July 2023. Oh, interesting. I love their videos. Sorority, if so, by whom? Sorority. The plan of action before you announce. Yeah, good stuff. The plan of action before you announce. That's all right. So here is the original video of when they were out there just a few weeks after the crime. So this is the first video that shows the technology. We'll just watch these real quick. These are real quick videos. So here's the link to this one. This is the prior. Like I said, this one came out December 15th, so it was just like a month after.
New clue in the stabbing deaths of 4 University of Idaho students. Investigators in Moscow now looking at new surveillance video from a business in town as they continue focusing on that white car seen near the murder scene. Senior national correspondent Brian Enton.
Friend, their house out in 3D. We wanted to learn exactly how that works.
We have a footprint right here by the door.
A murder scene typically so frenzied, so complex.
If you get them the right direction.
Clues literally everywhere.
We have some blood transfer by the window.
At this mock crime scene at Florida International University's Global Forensic and Justice Center outside Tampa, police, military, and students learn the intricacies of preserving and processing a homicide.
A large number of cartridge cases here.
They also learn about this 3D imaging that can take what would be a simple crime scene photo and replace it with this.
Take a leather couch and replace it with corduroy. See what I'm saying? Look at that fucking shit ass image. It's horrible. So I'm just gonna, that's all I'm playing in that. But you see what I'm talking about? It goes from leather to corduroy. It's ridiculous. Okay, so here is the other video. Now it's the same company. It's got updated technology. And this is, here's the link to this video. And if you look up this company and you look up the 3D technology, ooh, I need to subscribe. Let me hit the like on this. You can definitely, you know, you can, it really doesn't take much. You can actually do your digging and actually see, like, it's pretty damn good compared to what we just saw.
Olá, eu sou o Will. Hello.
So this is all of the technology. When the FBI showed up this last time, this is the equipment and the technology that they were using when they just went back, which is a hell of a lot better than what they were using the first time. That's why I don't think it was because of tunnels and all this other shit. It's because they really did need to get a better 3D scan.
我是法如中国英王专员黄芳。
Mon nom c'est Fachawashi.
Me llamo Rafael. Hola, me llamo Juan Pablo Reyes. 你好，我是应用专家 Roger.
Ciao, sono Paolo Zani.
こんにちは、久保田と申します。
And we are the web demo team.
This is all the technology that they're using.
It's
Right
an
here.
opportunity for you to meet 3D measurement experts.
What happens during a web demo?
During a web demo, we work together to find a customized solution that
See
meets
that?
your needs.
See what they just did? This is the difference in the technology, people. This is why the fucking FBI went. This whole tunnel shit is crazy. Watch. You're gonna see. This is the kind of shit they can do now with this new equipment. They can literally. You can watch the house and the walls and everything in the structure literally go up and down as they move it. Watch this technology. Look at this. They can literally look at this. Look at all the detail. That's why they went back to the frickin' property. If they were going back for the tunnels, they would have went there in the springtime when it was being discussed first.
During a live and personalized web demonstration
Shit's
of our
getting crazy
technologies.
with the reaching.
Together, we'll explore the foreign technologies that you are interested in.
Getting into the details and answering the questions that you may have. How can you get
The
one?
detail.
Contact our sales team.
And schedule a web demo.
At a time that works for you.
Don't miss this opportunity.
And remember, you have the dream, and we have the technology to make it happen.
They got the technology to make it happen. Now, come on now. You look at the shit from before. You look at what they can do now. I'm going to say it again. Like I said, the route that BK would have took if he was trying to avoid getting caught, it's a no-brainer, people. It's a no-brainer why they went back there. When you can literally go from Nintendo 64 corduroy leather to the whole structure, the boards, the freaking stairs, everything inside, you can literally, it's almost like MRI, you know, where it takes photos and slices, and you can literally go from any slice to any slice and see exactly everything at high detail. It's amazing. All right, let me see here.
But you know, this technology, the way to attack it, I would think, is because the house has been altered. They took, I mean, it's not the same.
It was probably the same as it was when they first started doing the scan. Because
Can
when
they
you
build upon the previous scan?
yeah, because that was a few weeks, about a month later, okay? By that period, they would have already taken the drywall, the floorboards. They would have taken the drywall, the floorboards within a couple days.
That would have been the first one
yeah.
you're talking about.
Yeah. So basically whatever would have been removed inside the property for evidence purposes, it would be the same from the first time they went there to when they just went there now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why now I don't think, unless I didn't see him there, maybe that's why, I don't know. I didn't see anybody there that would have taken the scans like that with the bodies there. I don't remember anybody showing up the same day of the scene that would have went in there with 3D scan technology. So I don't know if they necessarily have the bodies where they were, but everything else. And then, you know, I'm sure that, I mean, who knows? Maybe the team got to go in there before the stuff was removed.
Yeah.
And then they're going to take that footage and combine it with the new footage they got for a different presentation. Maybe they'll use that old stuff for a certain presentation when it comes to everything that was there before things were removed. But I would have to imagine that you're removing the drywall and whatever kind of carpet or floorboard or whatever structure wise. I just imagine it would have been gone within the first couple days of the crime happening, just to make sure you preserve the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's that was, who knows, maybe they went out there a hell of a lot earlier, and that's when the company was like, yeah, we did this, and here, this is what we did. But they used another mock-up to kind of show it, and maybe they were there a couple days after, and they were
It's
able.
weird that they went out there after that judge's ruling that they have to produce the IGG. I mean, it was a few days after that, and they had time to. I mean, I don't know when this technology came out, but I don't know. It seems like they had time to do this before.
Oh yeah, with their whole reason of it not being feasible was like, that don't make any damn sense.
Yeah.
What do you mean not feasible in the previous timeline?
Yeah, and what if
And
the house would have been torn down? They wouldn't be able to do anything.
yeah, and I don't think it has anything to do with the IGG information. I think it has everything to do with they're starting to realize that there's so many questionable things about this case. Maybe they needed to go back and get an exact, because when you look at the technology that we just showed on this video, I mean, come on. Like, who cares if the walls are the fact that you can literally take slices out of a property and what's inside, like with the slice, that's some crazy ass technology. And who said the team didn't go back there just for that purpose, to show the different slides of the property? It wasn't necessarily excuse me, it wasn't necessarily about where the evidence was or where the victims might have been. It was a whole mock-up property layout, because the property is going to be demolished, and they wanted to show you, okay, well, this is how close this bedroom is to this bedroom. It was more of a layout kind of thing, and not necessarily where the evidence or the bodies were, like it would have been the first time. And I just think that they probably went back because it was like, yeah, there's a lot, after all of these court hearings, and there's all these other things that are getting questioned now, and there is more questions about things. I think that's maybe when they're like, all right, we know it's going to get tore down, and I'm thinking it's going to get tore down here in the next couple weeks. We know it's going to get torn down. We need to hurry up and get this, because it's not going to be available for the jury members. So they want to make sure that they can give that layout for the jury members, and they're probably going to be able to do a walkthrough or have some kind of mock-up. It's going to be virtual reality.
Well,
they're going to have headsets.
I would think. Well, it was weird that Ann Taylor wasn't against having the house demolished, but I think, I'm not a criminal defense attorney, but I would think that it would be difficult for a jury to go through there and the prosecution's going to say, Brian Koberger walked through here, and the jury's going to be walking through it and seeing it and imagining it right then and there in the house. And that's, as a defense attorney, I would probably feel more comfortable as like, yeah, do it virtually. It's harder for them to imagine, I mean, I think, but I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's all questionable. But I don't know. When I think, I don't know. So there's just some channels out there that are just reaching like a motherfucker, and I don't understand it. I really don't, because it's like, it
has to be. I mean, I think that if you're gonna speculate, it has to be reasonable and based on at least something. It can't just be, something that you and yourself believe because this happened to you and you're using some basis that is just out there. But people are allowed to speculate, and especially when there's a gag order, people want to talk about it.
Well, of course, there's going to be people that are going to just do shit for clicks and views. Always, it's the yin and the yang.
That's not
it's always going to exist. But what I'm saying is when there's influences, and there's, let's be honest, my voice is only 4,000 strong. You know what I'm saying? When there's other voices out there that have a hell of a lot stronger voice, And, you know, when you watch these videos and stuff and you're hearing these legal professionals discuss, like, these are potential juror members that are watching these shows, you know, even the lawyer you know's coming out with this shit. And then it's like, why in the fuck are you going to make people think that President Green's truck is possibly the fucking truck that drove by the girls? You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit right there. It's like, yo.
But, you know,
like, that's going to start a whole bunch of, like, what?
The one thing that I can say is that, you know, reasonable people can discern the fact that, I mean, I think reasonable people can discern the fact that that truck that was shown,
you can see it.
It's a completely different truck.
There's an extra window on one of them. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
It doesn't
right.
pop
But,
fucking
you know,
out.
I would love to just point out all the coincidences in this case. There's Jacks involved, the number, you know, the double, you know, like Jack Showalter, Jack Decor. The, you know, the fraternity house has EX, Ethan and Xana. You just a lot of coincidence, and the numbers, you know, like 1122, and when Olivia gave birth, her room number was 1122. Just all these strange coincidences that occur. I mean, it's weird how that happens. And and Jack K too, or was it Jake? I don't know, but it's a weird thing. All these coincidences, you know, like, you know, BK, Brent Kopaka, and Brian Koberger, you know, just so many coincidences. It's a weird thing. It means nothing probably, but
You can find anything if you're looking for it. You know what I mean? Just
yeah,
like,
but I think I'm gonna do that.
you could hear the crime taking place in Linda Lane. You know, who knows? Maybe, but yo, let's make sure the timestamp's verified first before.
Oh, and two hunters, Hunter Johnson and Hunter Chapin. Yeah, all the twos. Like, it just seems, I don't know, just seems strange.
Yeah. I mean, I think the crime scene should be available until the trial's done, but you know, the university, we've already discussed that and why they need that fucker torn down ASAP. It's all about, like Deion Sanders made a rap song, but it's all about the money, and that's what it is. It's all about the fucking money.
Yeah, and yeah.
That was a horrible song by Deion too.
Jack Queen and Keith Rhodes and all of it. Yeah, you can go nuts with this.
All right. This is it says top 10 seeds to sway a jury. There's a couple of them. I'm just going to play a couple. If you want to watch the whole episode, I'm going to share the link for it, and then you can go drop some love on this channel. This is one that we watch here once in a while. It's a crime. Hold on one second. Why is it not taking me there? Excuse me. So we're just going to check out a couple of these, and then we'll go ahead and end the night. I'm going to put out a notification for the morning after this show is done, and then we will see you back on tomorrow morning discussing more of this stuff. So this is It's a Crime. Wow, she's got 224,000 subs. Damn. All right, so this is the top 10 seeds, and I'm only going to be playing like 3 or 4 of them. So the first one is about the survey when it comes to his surveys. The second one is about the behavioral changes. We've heard that we pretty much heard that stuff on John Kelly Profiler episode the other night. So I'm going to skip those. Let me go to the intro, and then we're going to go to the knife sheath. We're going to go to the DNA that was left behind. We're going to go to the phone activity. Then we're going to go to the license plates and the photos and the alibi. So we're going to be hitting about 5 or 6 of them instead. So here is, did I put her channel in the chat already? Yes, I did. All right. So here's a link to the video. And we'll get checking that out, and then we will be back tomorrow after this. Thank you all for hanging out. Don't forget, check out that law offices of Andrew D. Myers video that's going to be dropping. I was over there hanging out, and I can't wait. We're going to be hanging out plenty more in the future. It's two amazing people, and I can't wait to introduce them to you on a personal level over on this show in the future. And we're going to have Yoli on at the same time. It's a must. All right, so here's the intro. Then we're going to skip to the knife sheath.
November 13th, 2023 marked the one-year anniversary of the ending of 4 Idaho
Where's it at?
students' lives who were brutally murdered in a home in Moscow,
There
Idaho
we go.
after a fun night out. Maddie Mogan, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xander Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin are remembered as bright young people whose
What's up,
lives were
Lisa?
stolen from them by a deeply disturbed and ruthless individual. Brian Koberger has been the prime suspect in the case and awaiting his trial. It was supposed to be in October of 2023, but he waived his right to a speedy trial, and we are now waiting on a definitive date. Now, although Brian Koberger was a student in criminology and working on his PhD, we can't deny there seems to be several mistakes before, on, and after the night of the twisted, horrific murder. Or was it all a grand master plan and meant to look that way? There has been controversy all year over whether Brian is responsible or not. Today, we'll explore the top 10 seeds that Brian Koberger, if guilty, appeared to plant in an attempt to influence the future jury and create reasonable doubt if apprehended.
Okay, and so again, there's the link. We're going to skip ahead the first couple, and I'm heading right to the knife sheath part.
He left a knife sheath behind, but the murder weapon is still missing. Left there on the bed where Kaylee and Maddie's lives took a dark turn laid a knife sheath, partially under Maddie's body, but no sign of the murder weapon. The sheath was embossed with letters USMC and with the Marine Corps insignia. In one of my videos, or previous videos, I talked about who could be the target and talked about feeling like it was Maddie who was the target. And more we are finding out clues that lead to pointing to Maddie, but we really don't know yet. So was the sheath left intentionally, a sinister move in some gruesome game, or was it a slip up, an oversight in the chaos and heightened emotions in the aftermath of this horrific crime? John Kelly, who is a criminal profiler and psychotherapist, thinks he may be leaving that knife sheath to play mind games. He says, this is staging 101. They're going to look at this and they're going to think it's a military guy that did this. Some guy with some kind of training who lives up the road. He also says, if you took a pistol out of your holster, wouldn't you put it back in? I don't know anybody who wouldn't. And if I went fishing and had to take my knife out, I would put it back in the sheath. Brian is also known to be vegan and is described as obsessive compulsive. John said, you're such a clean vegan who's obsessive compulsive about what you eat and everything else, just the hygiene of carrying a bloody knife around.
That's a perfect,
wearing it somewhere on your person as you
That's a perfect comment right there.
His theory is that perhaps he left it behind on purpose, but not without wiping
What's up,
it
Remy?
down
Thank you
first.
for hopping in.
However, John Kelly's not giving Brian too much credit, calling him out as no genius and suggesting that his whole plan might have been to set him up for getting caught. Now, in a minute, I'll get into some comments that coincide with talking about the sheath and possibly backing up that he left it there purposely. Would this be his signature or calling card, as it's called in criminology? In criminology, a calling card is a particular object, sometimes left behind by a criminal at a scene of a crime, often as a way of taunting police or claiming responsibility. As for the missing murder weapon, while authorities are searching for a K-Bar military knife, they were also searching Brian's online activities and purchases. Prosecutors served search warrants for customer accounts at Amazon, eBay, Apple, and PayPal. And from Amazon, they demanded all detailed customer click activity pertaining to knives and accessories. They were looking for specific dates from March 20th to March 30th, 2022, which is 8 months before the murders took place, and November 1st to December 6th. On eBay, they sought out information as well about 13 specific eBay users. 2 of those users were listed as living in Washington, 1 in Idaho, and 1 in Pennsylvania. It's interesting, isn't it? Because we know that Brian came from Pennsylvania, attended Washington State University, and is 10 miles from the victim's house in Idaho. I cannot wait to see what they have found in regards to that. Can you? As for that missing murder weapon, Brian took a little road trip after the murders and he turned off his phone for a 3-hour span. Immediately, I am thinking a weapon disposal. What do you think? Now, one of the treks was from digital data. Brian returned to the scene of the crime just hours after the murder. But on Monday, the 14th at 12:36 p.m., he was in Clarkston, Washington. Then the next day, on November 14th, it's a Monday. You got to wonder, shouldn't he be in class at that time, or did he just have class in the morning? But at 12:36 p.m., Brian's phone pinged in Clarkston, as I mentioned. Then he goes to Johnson, Idaho, 2 hours east. And it's 1.5 hours away from Clarkston and 2 hours from Pullman. Then a few hours after that, from 5:36 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., his phone is turned off. Now, in a previous video, I said that I'd be scouring that area for 3 hours and looking for a murder weapon and any other articles of clothing or burn sites. And I mean, it's quite possible that could be where he disposed of it, allegedly. What do you think? One of the interesting things I noticed too is the times he shuts off his phone and turns it off and back on, it seems almost to be like on the exact hour within a couple minutes. That's interesting too. Perhaps that's his OCD or it coincides with a certain plan. I don't know. Now, police went through Brian Kohberger's family home with a search warrant, digging up face masks, and not just any face masks, but black ones. And that was the description of what the suspect wore the night of the killings and seen by one of the surviving roommates. They also found a .40 caliber Glock 22 pistol, which is a favorite among law enforcement, and a pocket knife, a laptop, black gloves, a green leafy substance, and in Brian's car, they found gloves, boots, a shovel, and a pair of goggles. Number 4, DNA was left behind at the scene of the crime. And this one is so fascinating in so many ways. Brian left a little something behind at the crime scene. His DNA was said to be found on the knife sheath on the button. And when Brian was arrested, they did a buccal swab, aka cheek swab, and turns out it was a statistical match, and the odds of it being Brian's DNA are 5.37 octillion times more likely than if it was some random person from the street. And octillion is obviously a huge number, 1 followed by 27 zeros. Not only did they have DNA directly from Brian, but before his arrest, authorities were able to collect DNA from the trash at Brian's parents' house. And guess whose DNA they found? Brian's dad, who would obviously be related to Brian, and Brian's DNA matched with the sheath. And they're saying it's all flawed science and brought in a DNA expert, Dr. Leah Larkin. In her affidavit, the doctor makes a case that the DNA profiles whipped up by at-home testing kits from places like 23andMe and Ancestry DNA aren't quite on par with the ones crafted in specialized labs, raising doubts about the reliability. The document underscores that a shoddy kit could leave you with too few matches, or even some mysterious matches that don't actually signify a family connection. She highlights the platforms such as Ancestry, 23andMe, and MyHeritage, and she says that they have an explicit ban to use their databases for forensic or investigative genealogy. Still, she notes that there's not much of a watchdog around those, around to enforce these restrictions on there. Now, I've done several tests personally and used some of the different companies. I'm not saying that it's untrue what she's saying at all because she's an expert, but I will say the way they word it is interesting because phantom matches typically is when it is a very distant connection. So it'll say like you have 8 centimorgans, which is a teeny tiny amount of DNA shared, but it goes up to generations and generations, and it could be a nothing burger. Brian's DNA matching with his dad or on the button of the sheath would not be phantom. It'd be a high amount of DNA matched. In the absence of effective oversight, forensic genetic genealogists are an honor system to obey the terms of service
Chrissy?
And the Department of Justice interim policy on forensic genetic genealogy. She then goes on to say She's aware of where genetic genealogy has been wrong, as well as cases where the databases were used improperly by the authorities. The defense is also claiming that the DNA could have been planted there by investigators. They're waving around 2 other male DNA samples.
Not that they planted the sheath itself, but the fact that the DNA could have been planted on the sheath. Mark Carver, DNA, not on purpose. Well, kind of, because you touched a vehicle of the victim without having proper protection on. So yeah, but yeah, it transferred to the door handle. Next thing you know, Mark Carver's convicted of the crime for the person that was unalived in the vehicle, and it's like, yo, no, that's how dangerous this is.
As well, found in the house like it's a bingo game,
I
and
like
a
this
DNA
video. This is a
sample
good
that
video.
was found on a glove outside the property a week after the murders. But
Good
here's
video.
the kicker: none of those samples were cozying up to the murder weapon sheath. Side note, the prosecution has until December 1st to submit all DNA evidence to the defense. Number 5, he carried his phone with him and turned his cell phone off, and his car was spotted on cam. Brazen or stupid? Brian carried his phone with him. This is, well, in my opinion, a stupid move. Wouldn't you agree? But why?
Right?
He knew and knows better.
If you're
so
stalking,
why is that?
right?
His
Exactly.
phone activity pinged near the murder house on multiple occasions
What I've been
and
saying.
spanning a period of time. There's
Yeah.
even data that shows Brian going back to the scene of the crime, as I mentioned, just hours after the murder. On August 21st, 2022, which is 3 months before the murders and right after Brian moved, Brian's phone was picked up by a cell phone tower providing coverage to the murder house, 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho. Brian's phone was picked up by a cell phone tower near the property at least 11 more times before the murders on November 13th. And on November 13th, 2022 at 2:42 a.m., Brian's phone was near his home in Pullman, Washington. At 2:47 a.m., his phone pinged again, traveling south, then the phone stopped pinging. It was either put in airplane mode, turned off, or dropped off the network. At 3:26 a.m., Brian's vehicle, his Hyundai Elantra, was captured on CCTV cruising the streets of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow, Idaho. It departed 2 minutes later. The car then heads to the student's home, and it said during this 3:30 mark, the vehicle was observed circling the home 3 times within 30 minutes before leaving via Walenta Drive, offering a clear view into the back of the victim's property. From 4 o'clock to 4:20 a.m., Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and
A clear view for about a second and a half when you're on Walenta. I'm just saying, you make that curve. It's a dangerous road. I'm sorry, a second and a half. Okay, I was there. A second and a half. It ain't much.
At
It ain't much.
4:48 a.m.,
It ain't
Brian's phone pings the network again on Idaho State Highway 95 south of Moscow. Now, if we back up at the 4 a.m. mark, took place that window. At 4 a.m., Xana receives a DoorDash delivery at 4. And around 4:04, Brian reportedly makes a 4th pass, executing a 3-point turn at the adjacent apartment complex. At 4:20, the suspect's vehicle is said to speed away from the King Road location, exiting the neighborhood through Walenta Drive. So we have that 20-minute, 15-minute period. At 4:50 a.m. to 5:26 a.m., his phone pings show traveling on
See, Uniontown, everybody. Look at the PCA. It says Uniontown, Idaho. It's fucking Washington.
Idaho 95 to Genesee, Idaho, and then the 2 west towards Uniontown, Idaho, and back north into Pullman,
Washington.
And it was a weird
Washington,
jump.
not
Now,
Idaho.
at 5:25 a.m., Brian's car reappears on Johnson Road, linking the back roads below Moscow to Pullman. Subsequently, he's allegedly captured on 5 cameras at Washington State University heading back to his apartment. At 5:30, Brian's phone pings again back home. And 3.5 hours later at 9 a.m., that's when his phone is on the move again and travels back to the area of the crime scene. It is picked up by a nearby cell phone tower between 9:12 and 9:21. 10 minutes later at 9:32, Brian's phone indicates that he's arrived back home in Pullman, which again is only a 10-minute drive anyways. But the defense said Brian just likes to go for drives and, was known to. Number 6, he disposed of things in Ziploc bags. When authorities served a search warrant and nabbed Brian at his parents' house on December 30th, 2022 at 1:30 a.m. and arrested him, he was caught separating his trash from the family's kitchen garbage, complete with latex gloves on. Not only did he do that, he carefully sealed the garbage in Ziploc baggies. He was also seen disposing of things in the neighbor's trash as well. So why did he do this at his parents' house or the neighbors? Why in Ziploc bags? He'd preserve evidence, right? Is it deliberate? Is it blatant? Is this brilliant?
All right, I'm going to go ahead and just skip this part. The psychological games, you're talking Papa Roger. I don't even think Papa Roger's BK. I think Papa Roger's corrupt Ellie spreading a narrative. All right, so we're going to go to the photos and then the alibi.
Number 9, he kept pictures of one of the victims on his phone and contacted them. Brian allegedly had more than one picture of one of the victims on his phone and a confidential...
Okay, there's no ties to the victim, so we're going to skip that part and go to the alibi.
He provided a supposed alibi that will exonerate him. Brian, in his defense, threw down the alibi card, swearing he was nowhere near the crime when this horrific murders took place, which is interesting to think about how they're going to argue the details of the phone and the vehicle, but no surprise in court, they have been playing keep away with the details, teasing the prosecution with a "you'll see it when you get it" kind of attitude. And the
well, what the hell do you think the prosecution's doing? Damn straight. If the prosecution's like, well, we're just going to use the tip, we're not going to give you the fucking chain of custody, and we're not going to give you, all the information. No, damn straight. If the alibi, fuck yeah, I'd be doing the same damn thing. Look, we'll tell you that we weren't there, but we're not going to give up and show our information to the shady-ass motherfuckers on the other side, Judge. That's why we don't want them involved when we show you what the rest of the alibi is, so we can show you why we're saying what we're saying. That's one thing I don't understand, Yoli, is why that didn't take place yet. You know? Why they... Where they didn't have that ex parte session where they got to show the judge the rest of the alibi without the prosecution there, because the prosecution did that shit to them with the secret grand jury. Yeah. So that's one thing I am surprised that hasn't taken place, is them being able to do the ex parte and show the rest of the alibi. That is
well, I never found a statute that allows them to do that, the ex parte, and I don't think that it's ever been done.
Oh, okay.
But I did run across some kind of a case that the title had ex parte, but the case in itself was a writ. It was something that was filed to this appellate court. But ex partes are used for emergency situations, and unless I didn't see a statute, an Idaho statute that allows for that. Like every state has a statute that allows for ex parte, and for every type of case, like child custody, civil, probate, there's always a procedure that you do an ex parte for, and it just means you go in on a short notice without giving the other side the proper notice for whatever you're doing. I didn't see that in Idaho, and it was such a novel thing. And actually, what I thought was that maybe it was support for him driving around.
Yeah, well, she said he was driving around, but he wasn't around the scene of the crime when the crimes took place, is what they're saying. And they're saying that they can provide that with an alibi. I want to look more into that. I want to look more into it. Was it something that would have been the first of its kind in this situation? Or
the lawyer had a video about that. And he said that he hadn't, I forget what he said, but he did have a good video on that and kind of supported what I said. And he was on News Nation as well. And he and another criminal defense attorney was on News Nation, and they said that they didn't think much about his alibi. They just thought that, if he was driving around, then that's what he was doing. I mean, you can't have your client perjure themselves and say, I don't remember what I was doing, even though they do. I mean, that would be unethical. So, you know, I mean, if he has a habit, and that word habit, it means something. It's a legal term. It's a habit. And so when you have a habit, you get people to, he doesn't have to testify. You get other people to testify that he has
that you were at different locate, or that you were at because he says that he can show that he was at a different location other than what they're stating. So it could be somebody. It could
a
be
7-Eleven clerk. A 7-Eleven clerk could say, "Oh yeah, he was here all the time at around this time. You know, he had a habit." You know, so you get people to testify. And one of the people that, and I do remember this about Ann Taylor, she said she was going to use the prosecution's witness to support the alibi, and that is the people who triangulate or whatever it is. They found the pings, you know, all over the place 12 times, and that supports the habit that he had driving around. And so I would do the same. I think if that was the truth, I wouldn't want my client to lie. I mean, you know, there's some people who say, well, it's better if he says he doesn't remember. Well, no, it's not. If he does remember and that's the truth, you got to put it forward.
Mm-hmm.
I would.
I think the ex parte was for the alibi. I mean,
it was. And I thought it was going to be medical records that he has insomnia.
Yeah, that's right. You did say that back then.
Yeah, I thought that's what it would be. But it was definitely something supporting his proposed alibi in case the court wasn't going to accept it as an alibi. And so she offered it, but it was never accepted. And I didn't find anything in the Idaho statutes that allows a criminal defense attorney to go in ex parte, like emergency hearing with the judge, because they do have a remedy, and that's a writ, a WRIT, where you file a writ with the appellate court. And that's the remedy that you have when you have an emergency. You immediately go to the appeals court. But, you know, every state has different statutes. And I looked and looked and looked, and I couldn't find one. And then I found a case that had the title had ex parte, but it wasn't. It was a writ. And it talked about how someone, it was a writ of mandamus, or it was some kind of writ. But there has to be a statute that allows you to go in ex parte for whatever you're doing. And I didn't find one in Idaho, but I know the lawyer talked about it, and he was also on News Nation talking about it.
Yeah. Well, I'll look to see. Well, on the next show tomorrow morning. By the way, I'll be putting out a notification here in a few minutes.
I'll look again.
We'll have to go in. I'm gonna go into that.
All of the Idaho criminal statutes are online. I didn't see one.
Yeah.
I saw one for child custody. I saw one for probate. I saw one for family law.
The ones I kept seeing was child custody and things like that. And I had a hell of a time trying to find one myself. So now it makes sense, because I kept seeing child custody and things like that. And I'm like, why in the hell am I having such a hard time finding it for this kind of crime? Like, what the hell? So now
I think the remedy is a writ.
And now it makes sense.
Which reminds me, you know, I don't know. There's so many things to this case that doesn't make sense, and it gets to me. But I have to focus on my work sometimes, so I gotta work.
Well, I want to say thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Thank you, Yoli, for hanging out. I appreciate you. If you're available tomorrow, let me know.
Yeah, I think I'll be available tomorrow, and then over the weekend, my friend's coming. So she's a cooking show person. She's not.
Oh, okay.
My friend's coming. And so she and her husband are coming, and so I'll have to, you know, be with them.
Oh, that's fine.
She's my friend from 30 years ago, and she's Lebanese, and so
this technology is secondary. So,
well, she's not because she had a horrible childhood. She saw her grandmother get bombed, and in Lebanon, she's not a true crime person. So,
Oh wow. Yeah. Now this technology shit's secondary. You know, go spend time. Anybody spend time with your family, your loved ones, your friends, everybody, because
Well, this
you
is
never know
important
if
too for
tomorrow comes.
me. It's important too for me.
Oh yeah, but this is technology. It's secondary shit. You guys go make your memories with your families and your friends, and then I'm here for you when you ain't got, when you ain't got life going on. So that's why I'm here. So, but I want to definitely shout out law offices of Andrew D. Myers. Go hit the sub if you're not. I became a member last night. I went ahead and activated the membership because they kept talking about the one. So I'm like, you know what? I need to be a member too. So I went ahead and became a member myself. Definitely suggest you to go. But definitely sub, check them out. Wait for that video to drop. You're going to see, this is from earlier, the red hoodie. You're going to see me in a red hoodie tomorrow, but it's from earlier. It's not. So don't let it throw you off there.
These two remind me of me and my former boss who passed away. I inherited his dogs. One passed away. I still have the other one, but they remind me a lot of me and my former boss, how we would interact. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're awesome, and they're beautiful people. I'm so glad they're part of YouTube true crime community. They're gonna do amazing things. I can already tell just with how they operate. So thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Central, maybe 9:30, 10 a.m. Central. And then we'll be back tomorrow night again as well. So thank you. Thank you, Yoli. Appreciate you guys.
Good night.
Peaceful and positive night. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.